You do it all. There's really only so many words to describe someone of your caliber.
No, actually, I don't make very good love in bed, to be honest with you.
What's up, everyone? It's Chicks in the Office with Rhea and Fran, giving you that Friday energy on a Wednesday. It's me, Fran. Hey, everyone. Kelly is here today.
Hello.
No Rhea, but Rhea is a part of our interview with Barbara Corcoran that is on this episode.
Oh, Barb. I fucking love
She
Barbara,
is
man.
a delight.
Ooh, I'll have to listen to myself.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
She
I
is
missed her,
hilarious.
I think. I saw pics of her when she was here.
She, after our interview, also everyone, Kelly Keegs.
Oh, yes. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Kelly, it's me. Hi. How are you?
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, always.
After the interview was done, we were just chatting, and I was honestly like asking her for like real estate advice.
Yeah.
And
What'd she
but
say?
it was also like real estate advice. No, it was just like we were kind of joking around, but she was doing that little like grandma, you know, like kind of like
hold your
cheeky.
arm for
No,
a long
like
time?
like a little like tap on the hip. Like she's like she was like, "Oh, like
like almost like a spank, but
yes,
not quite.
Exactly. Like, and we were just cracking up, but
I love that.
She's on the episode. We have a full Cutting Stems recording that you can listen to. That is myself, Kelly, and Kaitlyn Bristowe.
Yes.
Recapping this week of The Bachelor. And we have some topics we're going to get through. But I do want to go back because on Monday, Rhea and I really just jumped straight into the Vanderpump drama.
Yes.
And we didn't really have any catch-up time. And this is for the one person, who DM'd me and said, damn, really wanted to hear about your weekend in the snow. And I thought, you know what? Don't worry, I'll circle back to it for just this one.
That is perfect, Fran, because I also want to hear about your weekend in the snow. I was in tears at your videos. You know that.
Yeah.
How many times have you heard me say the past couple of months that we need a snow cleanse? We need snow in New York City. I need to be in a winter wonderland because I don't feel like the year has started yet. Like I don't feel cleansed in any way. So I'm really jealous of your snow.
It was the one snow like cleanse, literally such a good word for it that I'm just like, I did it, I experienced it, and now it can be spring. Like it was like I just crossed it off the list.
Yes.
Of things. No, I actually was maybe behaving like a 7-year-old hoping for a snow day the next day because it snowed I was in New Hampshire. It snowed all day Saturday, but like Friday night into Saturday night, and it was supposed to start around like 10 o'clock Friday night, and I was still awake, and I'm looking at my phone and it's like weather says 100% snowing like right now. So I kept looking out the window. It wasn't snowing. Ugh. And I was like, oh no, like is this gonna be a dud? Like is this like, and I went to bed at midnight, still wasn't snowing. I was like, oh no, like I was just so
like liars.
I was like, oh, I gotta wake up for school. Like it was like, you know. And and then Saturday morning I like did the like one eye crack and like looked at the window and was like, yes, it was blowing snow, pouring. All the trees were covered.
Looking up to the window.
It's the
snow.
best.
There was
feeling.
easily like 8 to 10 inches overnight. Like it was just like a complete fresh. Oh my god, it was so great.
Oh, Fran, I'm so jealous. I honestly
stunning.
could die.
It was really
the
stunning.
pictures you were posting. You were in a like the most beautiful winter wonderland I've ever seen in my life. Where were you staying? Is that somebody's house?
So it's Joe's
gorgeous.
sister. Yeah,
Jesus
Joe's sister
Christ,
lives up there.
what a beautiful
I know, it's
home.
absolutely stunning.
Oh my
one with
God.
nature, like just kids were just running around. You know what's really cool is they the girls, Joe's nieces, went skiing on Saturday, and they have like, it's, you know, nothing major. It's like one little mountain in town that is run by, it's like a club, so it's run by them, so like the adults know how to use everything.
Oh, interesting.
And so it's just
I see.
they have like a little cabin and they can barbecue, and then like all the kids go up and down like the one mountain
little hill or whatever. Yeah.
And we climbed up to the top and got to, it was just absolutely stunning winter weekend.
What a weekend.
I know.
I'm so jealous.
It was
I really
lovely.
am. I really
It's
am.
exactly what I
Wow.
wanted. And
It's not
everybody
gonna
was
happen, right?
everybody was making fun of me because I was just like,
No.
yes,
You got that perfect snow angel.
Yeah.
I saw
I
it.
know,
I saw it. I
was.
respected it.
Thank
Were
you.
you the only one who wasn't skiing?
No, it was not everyone.
no.
It's like it's a kids thing. It's like a little it was.
I would need that. I would need the kids.
And it's also like, it's not like a legit mountain where you can go and like rent and they have all the equipment. It's like they own all their stuff because they ski like every weekend.
Right. And they just go up. It's like a self-serve.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's interesting. So I didn't know that existed. Like
I know.
Like a
Me neither. I didn't know either.
Ski chalet.
Yeah, it was just like the little pull rope.
Yeah.
To take you up, and it was quite lovely.
So jealous.
What
made me most jealous about it were the snow-covered trees. Nothing is prettier than a snow-covered tree.
I know.
A little. What are they? A lot of pines.
Yeah, a lot of pines, evergreens.
Beautiful.
It was great. It was lovely.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, I just wanted everybody to really know that was such an important part of my winter journey. Now I feel like I can take a deep breath.
God, I hope that sometime in the upcoming weeks I can also find a winter wonderland for some.
Yeah, I was absolutely thrilled. Did you watch? I know we'll talk about it on Friday for the weekly watch report, but
I have something to ask you as well after this. Keep going.
Okay. Have you watched Daisy Jones and the Six?
No, and I have to, and I apologize for not watching
Kelly,
it yet.
I really thought
I
was going to be able to talk to you about it.
You know
right
why
now.
I haven't watched it yet, Fran?
Why?
And I'm not sure. I cannot remember if you suggested this show to me or not. But somebody suggested it to me, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch it. And I forgot all about it. And if it wasn't you, then you need to drop everything you're doing and watch the show. The show is Dickinson, the Emily Dickinson show with Haley Steinfeld.
No, that was not me.
Fran, drop everything you're doing. I have chills, literally. You are going to fucking love this show.
Yeah.
It is. She's Emily Dickinson. It's in like Victorian era, whatever. It is very modern.
It funny?
It's funny.
Is it like The Great?
Yes, it's just like The Great.
I love The Great.
It's on Apple TV Plus. It is just like The Great. There's 3 seasons
I love
of it.
The Great.
3 seasons of it. And the soundtrack is. I've been listening to nothing.
3 seasons.
That's what I said. I said, why are we not talking about this more?
No, I knew there was a
so
season.
Good.
I didn't know they were
3
clocking
seasons.
in 3 seasons.
And it is so fucking good, Fran. I can't even describe you. I almost texted you like 12 times over the weekend to be like, oh my God, this show. Because for some reason I thought it was you that told me about it. I don't know who told me. Maybe nobody. Like, I don't know. But it fell into my lap, and it's all I have been watching it. I'm almost done.
Oh my! Well, I'm definitely gonna have to.
You gotta watch it. But Daisy Jones and the Six is next on my list. I was talking with my friends this weekend, wondering whether or not I should read the book first, and people were like, are you gonna really read the book first? And I was like, no, but I will go back to the book and read it again afterwards. I did that with normal people, and I really liked doing that. So I'll read the book eventually, but it's next on my list.
For me, like Daisy Jones. I'm not a crazy like read the book before kind of person. Those people do exist.
Yeah.
I'm just more of a like I can tell when a show is going to be able to stand on its own.
Yes.
And that is what this is in my mind. I just feel like you have to be able to separate the two things. And of course, like every once in a while things get made from a book and you're disappointed because it's just totally different than what you thought. Nobody can be 100% pleased when it comes to book adaptations because like there are people that I have seen who are like, Daisy is exactly as I pictured. Like this is so perfect. And then I see some people that are like, this is so not how I pictured, so it's just like, that's the beauty of books.
Yeah, everyone has a different brain.
Use your imagination.
Right.
And then this is what comes out of it. But I watched the first 3 episodes and loved it. And now, yes, like there are, and I posted this guy's TikTok on my Instagram story because it really was me. He was like, I'm the kind of guy that will read a book and forget everything that's in the book. Yeah. Where it's like I probably read this book 3 summers ago, somewhere around there. And I really, really enjoyed it. But like, I don't remember every single detail that when I'm watching the show, I'm like, oh, they did that different. They did that. So when I Googled it afterwards, I was like, book and show differences
completely. And that is,
there's
and
some
that's
things that they
also
change. I mean, the one thing that I understand,
a good test of a good show is if you're not quite sure what they missed out on because the gist of it was received.
Exactly. Like they've changed some of the side character stories, which I know bothered some people. The biggest thing probably for me that I do understand, and the only qualm that I will agree with is they just eliminated a member of the band.
Oh,
Really?
they can't do that.
Yeah, like they just made like Daisy Jones and the Six. Like the Six was 6 band members.
Yeah.
And so
they just
but they just made Camilla
part of it.
Part of
the
this,
six?
like within the 6. So in the show, there's 5 people in the band, and then they add Daisy
and
Jones.
then she's the 6th.
Yeah, but like when they come up with the name, they include Camilla in like the we're the 6th.
Right.
And when originally there was just a whole ass extra guy who
Also,
just
I saw that
cuts.
That's crazy.
the time that had gone by in the book was like 40
Well,
years.
it's different. It's 40 years
and then
versus
in the show it's
yeah,
20,
it's 20,
which
yeah.
like I'd prefer it to be 40 just because it's like I know they want to use the same actors, but
Yeah.
it's
Right.
like 20 years isn't that much time. Like
No, but I'd much rather them use the same people.
Yeah.
I just think it was I think it was cast so well. I think Riley
Yeah.
Keough is fantastic.
I love Riley Keough.
I mean, you kind of have
I love her. Oh my God,
Riley Keough.
Fran, what a compliment.
Well, I feel like especially the Daisy Jones, she's got the bangs, she's got the weight, like the long red hair, like she's got the whole vibe.
It's true. I do love her. I've always loved her. I liked her in Lola so much. And then, you know what she's in that I always forget is Magic Mike. She's the girl with the pig who like overdoses. Yeah. Riley Keough.
And
she's stunningly beautiful.
Sam Claflin is really good. I'm just impressed anytime actors are able to like just become singers.
they had
and
to learn actually how to play
instrument.
I thought.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And I
There's
love when they do that.
There's a video I saw on TikTok.
Like,
it was like
Ryan Gosling, La La Land, you know?
Yeah, there's videos I saw of Sam from like the beginning of 2020 picking up a guitar and being like, well, here I go, like to learn the guitar.
That's
I
crazy.
love that.
Yeah,
that's such good like
it's really
dedication to what you're doing.
Really impressive.
That's what makes it fun too. Like
I
would
rumors,
think
maybe
for like
it
an
came
actor.
from Dumois that they might like go on a tour like as a band.
Oh, I bet people
That
would go
would
ape
sell
shit
out.
for that.
I mean, the
bet they
music
could
is good.
do-
The album is good. I've
bet they
listened
could
to
do
a lot of it.
like
I don't like his voice is the only thing.
Oh, I like his voice.
really?
The two of them sound
I like
so
her. I like
good
her.
together.
Yeah, I
But
like
his
them
voice
together. I've
sounds
heard
like,
like
I
the
don't know.
songs.
The third episode, and this is not a spoiler because you know that eventually they become Daisy Jones and the Six, obviously.
Right, yeah.
But in the third episode, when they sing together for the first time, I goosebumps all over my body.
Of course.
I was like, yes, like the chemistry just like popped off the screen for me.
I
For
love
me,
that.
I thought it worked so well.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm going to have to start literally tonight. I like when people like that get really into their characters, obviously, like as actors, actresses, whatever. But to me, that just makes it more authentic. It makes it seem more believable than just like whenever they do like the cutaways when someone doesn't learn how to play guitar and they show like their shoulders
Or
but never
it's
their
like they're obviously,
fingers.
like that's not them singing.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Like that sucks. And I think that prioritizing those skills or the willingness to learn those skills is what makes these shows so good.
Definitely. And I think Riley had a lot of
recreations.
pressure too because she's always been an actress, but
Yeah.
she does have the name and the legacy of being Elvis's
Totally.
granddaughter. So it's like people
Totally.
assume that obviously she would
Which I
be
just
talented.
found out.
Not,
What?
I'm not shocked
I'm
by that
actually not
one
surprised.
coming. Yeah, I'm
Didn't
really
you,
not.
What did you fucked up something so bad the other day? I forget what it was. Oh no,
The
it was
Mary
just-
Kay and Ashley being the
Yes.
Olsen twins.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
God, Noah.
Yeah,
You're out of your
yeah.
mind.
That was just misspeaking.
yeah. True.
No, no. So I
So
thought,
bad.
and I think she does like a really, really good job. So I'm
She's
sad.
excellent.
It's a great way to pull people in to do the 3-episode like beginning and
Yes.
then go week to week.
Yes.
Because you do feel attached like immediately.
You always
Now
get sucked
waiting
in.
week to week is kind of sucks. And I will say I was very impressed by Camilla Morone also.
Interesting. I've been curious to know how she's going to
I
do.
thought like, you know, she hasn't really had a big acting role. This is a very important part, crucial to the story, like so crucial. And I thought she did a
Yeah, she's been
great
pretty
job.
good, I thought.
I thought like I
That's
honestly
amazing.
was. I don't know if it's because maybe like people had low expectations.
I also was like,
could be that.
have I
Could be
ever
that.
seen her in anything? Like I don't
No,
think so.
this is her first big acting thing.
Yeah.
I was like, wait.
I mean,
this
she's
is,
a model.
It took me a second to be like, oh wait, this is the girl that dated Leonardo DiCaprio for like.
I'm wondering
Yes.
if she's like ever has she wanted to be an actor?
I think.
Is this her? I guess I've never like heard
Yeah, I know.
her having anything. You know,
I know. I saw an
not
interview.
a bad first gig. It's like what's his face? Ashton Kutcher the other day.
Yeah,
First, he's
exactly.
like a first gig. Oh, that 70s show.
Yeah.
It's like okay.
I know. I saw a video of her and Suki Waterhouse who's also fantastic, who's also in it. Like it was just cast so well.
Yeah, Suki Waterhouse. All those
she
girls
is-
look like it too.
They
just
do.
look
They do.
like
Like
that. Like
she just looks like a
60s hippie
Brit-
chick.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
British rock and roller.
Totally. Yeah.
And they were saying that like they're just so entranced by Taylor Jenkins Reid and everything that she has created and like this honestly like her own kind of universe.
Yeah, I love it.
And now they're making so many things out of her, like so many movies, TV shows, adaptions of her stuff that they were both like, we would love to be in Evelyn Hugo or like all these other things. Like I think Camilla would be really good in Malibu Rising personally.
Yeah.
Because I think she gives more of like a Riva family vibe, which would be really good.
I would love that.
Yeah, would be so good.
Is there like a confirmation or at least something in the works for an Evelyn Hugo movie?
Oh yeah, Evelyn Hugo is going to be
Reese
a
Witherspoon,
show
right?
on.
Did I make
Reese,
that
I
up?
think, is adapted a lot of these. Hello Sunshine did Daisy Jones.
No, I know, but aren't they doing
Netflix
for
but
Evelyn
it's not
Hugo?
a movie, it's a TV show, I think.
Oh, but you know what?
Or
I'm
maybe
okay
it's
with
a
that.
movie.
I'm okay with that too.
You know what? It might be a movie because
I'm okay with
I
either.
actually think people were upset because everyone was like, why not make this a limited
should be a
series? It would be
series.
so easy to do it by person.
Right, exactly.
You know?
It really would be.
I think it's film adaptation.
Okay. Well, I hope it's 5 hours
Malibu
long.
Rising, I think
Is that coming as well?
Going to be a show on Hulu.
Damn.
It's all over the place,
Cash
right? Like,
goes
isn't it?
checks,
yeah,
Taylor.
Yeah, Malibu
Like, let's
Rising is
go.
being developed for Hulu. So she's got Daisy Jones on Amazon.
Love it. Spread it
Netflix
out.
movies coming out.
Yep.
The Malibu Rising is going to be in Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and then she also has One True Loves?
That one I don't think I know. One True Love?
Yeah. One True Loves is also Taylor Jenkins Reid. It's a book. And this is coming out very soon, I think. I think it might be coming out. I think it actually might be in theaters.
Oh my God.
April 2023.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's go.
And this is Philippa Sue from Hamilton.
Love. Okay.
And Luke Bracey and
Amazing.
Simu from the Marvel world.
Amazing.
The story of this one is
Love.
is the main character is married and then her husband dies. I put in air quotes.
Okay.
And she kind of like comes out of it and then
interesting.
And then he's spoiler alert, not dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a feeling he wasn't going to be dead.
Yeah.
I love the sound of it.
Yeah.
And all of these. And yeah, I love whenever there's a good run of like books turned movies. I feel like every once in a while we get a good run. Like there's some good books come out and they really do it well. And I mean,
she's really, they're just picking up on Taylor Jenkins Reid. Like everything she's putting out is being adapted.
Not Taylor Jenkins Reid, but what's the other book turned movie?
Colleen
Hoover. Yeah. That's people are pissed about that.
That's great.
People aren't
caused more controversy.
Yeah, people aren't
due
thrilled
to
about that one. But I still think it'll probably end up being great. You know what I mean? Like they always end up being kind of good. They always end up. I'm always going to see them. I'm always going to watch. I'm always going to give it a try, especially if I read the book. So it's like whatever.
Always going to see them.
We're on a good run of that. But Daisy Jones and the Six is on my list of things to do immediately. But Fran, I'm telling you,
Dickinson
even
also.
this whole conversation we're having, all I'm thinking about is like getting back to finish that show.
Dickinson,
like I'm just obsessed with it. Like Haley Steinfeld is Emily Dickinson, and she's like writing poetry. Like you're just gonna and you're gonna crack up at how it's very like a me show, but we have such a similar taste in shows like that, like Victorian era type shows. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. I love it so much.
Okay, so we have some topics to get into. I guess I can kind of throw it into the topic so we can just jump right into it.
Yeah.
But I love that Harry Styles accidentally posted that picture of him in the One Direction t-shirt on his story, and then he said,
"How do you accidentally he's taking a picture in the app and then
apparently I guess he could be, but apparently
maybe he has a close friends.
Yeah, people say it was like clearly for close friends. He deleted it.
I would love to be on his close friends.
Yeah, like maybe it was for close friends.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what they're saying.
Like at his concert, he like made a joke about
what he said.
Accidentally posting stuff. He said, I forget the exact line, but I saw a TikTok of him joking about it.
I saw it 1 second after he posted it, and I looked at the shirt. I'm like, what? Like, why would he?
I didn't even see it in real time. I only saw it.
I saw it afterwards also.
Yeah.
He took it down.
Yes.
Oh.
He like deleted it right away, but of course
I can't
people got
find what
screenshots.
exactly.
But it also wasn't like, I don't know why he would even like delete that.
But there was a TikTok of some girl who was like, I gave him that shirt. And there's a video, I don't know if it was real, but there's a video of her like, he's running down like.
Oh, I saw it. Yes,
so it's like a
I saw
fan t-shirt.
I think it really was a fan T-shirt.
Wait,
it
that's
looked like somebody
crazy.
left it on stage.
Holy shit, that's nuts.
From the video, I also saw that too on my TikTok, and it looked like the same. Wait, so let me see if I can play this if you can hear him. So he goes.
Maybe like some people, you choose to keep it to yourself, and maybe one day you'll accidentally post it to your Instagram story.
So I don't know if he was like,
Hilarious.
so he accidentally posted a picture of him in a One Direction T-shirt, which is just absolutely incredible.
Imagine
Just
his
so
close
cute.
friend story.
Oh my God. Right. Like imagine being.
Who's on that?
Imagine being Harry Styles' close friend. Like
Yeah.
just not even just on the close friend story. Like just being his close friend.
I wonder if
That'd
it's
be
like
fucking
his
crazy.
like, maybe it's not even famous people. It's just like his own friends.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I mean. It's probably kids
It's
from his
probably what it
hometown.
is.
His sister, his mom, like stuff like that. But that to me, that photo, first of all, I wouldn't have like even deleted it. Like it's just cute and sweet and whatever. And I think that at this point, once Harry, won his awards and he so like outwardly thanked like all the One Direction guys.
Mm-hmm.
Whether I don't know what kind of terms they're all on with each other, but I don't feel like there should be bad blood between them. Like I feel like there shouldn't be like a
there's none
shame
coming from
around
Harry.
it. Of course, none coming from Harry.
But
just Zayn.
I know
But
Zayn.
there's-
I know.
I
It's
mean, the
Zayn. And
jealousy
Liam.
is
Liam
there.
too.
Yeah, the jealousy is there, and I get it and whatever. But it's
my
like
sweet little Niall is a coach on The Voice now.
I found that out last night.
Yeah, absolute
my
angel.
mom was texting our
new
group
season.
being like,
New
we're
season
watching
just
this.
came out, so everyone
He
can
is
tune
so
into that.
cute.
He's absolutely adorable.
My mom
and
says
I
he
actually
is
really like
adorable
his
on
new
it.
song.
Same. He's
God only knows.
I've always loved him.
where we will
I don't know the
go.
words yet. I don't know the words yet.
I see it on TikTok all the time because Louis Capaldi always posts.
Oh, of course. I've been trying to post more on TikTok lately, but not. It's cut into my time where I sit on TikTok.
Yeah, I believe me, I
Thinking
get
of things
that.
to post,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's the worst. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
By the time you're done
TikTok.
consuming a million TikToks, you're like, I don't even want to make one.
Exactly
of these.
right. Like I'm tired now, and
Yeah.
I look ugly, and I
Yeah.
hate these filters. So
Yep.
it's
did you
just-
guys watch
that's how it goes.
the Chris Rock?
I did, yeah.
What did you think of that?
I didn't watch it, but
People are upset.
I got the cliff notes, and that everybody says it's like lame and old.
Was this like the Will Smith part?
There were some.
I didn't watch.
I
the
saw
whole thing.
clips from that.
I would say it started off very slow.
Yeah.
I did not like the beginning of it. There were some jokes were really a majority of it I didn't love, but
I didn't watch it, but I saw he called the Queen racist. I saw.
I mean, it was he did like a whole Meghan Markle.
Bold.
He did a whole Meghan Markle moment, which
Okay.
obviously people have their opinions on.
Mm-hmm.
It was like he was basically like, I don't believe you. Like you didn't Google the most racist family in the world.
I mean,
like,
yeah, that's
so
right,
So it was
right.
funny, and I think a lot of people have made that joke.
Right, of course, yeah.
and
It doesn't sound
He also
super
he also
original.
did like a Kardashians jokes. Like it was like kind of relevant in the people he was mentioning.
Yeah.
It just felt like, I don't know. Sometimes like it started off very like, oh, here's my opinion about like woke culture, and then like here,
Yeah.
and which is
Yeah.
just I feel like talked about in comedy
I'm so
specials
bored.
just too
I'm
much.
so bored by all that.
I get it. Like
Who said it?
It's
Somebody.
just,
It might have been like Kevin
just tell
or-
jokes.
Right. It might have been Kevin or somebody in this building that said this about this special, that it sounded like he was performing it, jokes and all, for like a room full of people on like old people on Facebook.
Yeah,
Like, that's
yeah,
how
yeah.
that was the
Yeah.
vibe. And I
Yeah.
was like, I understand that, and I get that, and I do. I mean, to be honest, that's his target
Yeah.
audience. Like
Yeah.
that's my dad fucking loves Chris Rock. And,
Yeah,
like, that's just
exactly.
that kind of. It's that generation. That's
But even, like,
whatever.
when they were
I'm
showing
sure
the-
he'd be howling at a Kardashians joke.
Yeah,
you know what
even
I
when
mean?
they were
Like,
showing the crowd, there wasn't a lot of like laugh out loud
Yeah.
faces.
People
I
weren't
would
slapping
say.
their knee?
Yeah,
Damn.
and then of course he ended with the Will Smith stuff, which
8 minutes, right? 8
was
minutes.
yeah, which was, I mean, I don't know.
I think it was.
I really like. I didn't think it was. People always have
I thought it was
very
good. I
strong
thought that
opinions.
part
I
was
thought
good.
that was. There was parts that I laughed at. I mean, it's.
I don't get why
just-
people are like outraged. Like how like I can't believe he said all. It's like he can say whatever he wants.
He can
like,
say whatever he wants. It's also his special. Don't watch
Yeah.
it. Like I don't. I get weird about that too. I'm like,
But it's also like he got slapped in the face. Like he's allowed to like talk shit.
He can call him a bitch a couple times. Like it's fine. And I feel like that's true. People get mad. Like I saw the clip of it where he just like continuously just keeps calling him a bitch in like different ways.
And her too. I think that's what people didn't like.
Oh, I mean.
But like,
well, I say less. But I think that that he can call, or like, why do people get so hung up on being called a bitch? Like I feel like that's a man thing. Like, I don't. It's maybe because us women are always called bitches. We're used to it. But whenever like a man is called a bitch, it's like you might as well have like shot him in the face. You're like, what the fuck you call me? Like that just goes off, and then it's like the most major insult you can ever say is like call someone a bitch. And then even when like he's going off, people are saying like that's just not how you talk about another man. I don't care what happened. That's just not how you talk about another man.
Like,
you can call him a bitch. Like it's crazy.
And he's a comedian. And this is his Netflix special. What?
And it's been a year and he hasn't talked about it like publicly.
Was he supposed to make a joke about it and have it just
be like PG-13?
Like, be like a boring joke about it?
He's probably heard nothing but this for the last year. I'll be honest,
I really don't understand how a lot of comedians do what they do anymore because it's just hard.
It's like a minefield. It's like a shit show. And
to be honest, look, it is what Chris Rock titled this thing "Selective Outrage." It's like you never know what is the one that's gonna make people lose their shit.
I know.
Like you might have pre-planned. You're like, this is the one that's gonna get people, and then it just is something totally different.
I also think it's really hard for comedians because humor has changed. Not in the way of like content of humor, but just the way that we consume humor. Like I love stand-up comedy, and usually, and like especially if it's good, you guys know I love John Mulaney. I love that whole vibe, the whole beat.
Yeah.
I tried to watch Mark Maron's new special the other day, who I also really like. Bored to fucking tears, turned it off after 10 minutes, and I was like, I don't think this is a reflection on him. I think it's a reflection on the fact that I don't really consume comedy like this anymore. I like short bits. I like, unfortunately, TikTok and the internet's ruined my brain.
And everybody really does like. It just feels like everybody has like a 45-minute special.
Totally. And it's right. It's
somewhere
just
to
not.
stream.
Also, like
it's just
being
not
there
as like exciting.
Live, I feel like it doesn't translate the same. Like
totally agree. It's nice being there in person. But
I just was not moved in any direction that aggressively from the special. Yeah, like completely. I wasn't like I'm not at the end of the spectrum where I'm like that sucked, or I'm not like praising, like I just fell somewhere in the middle. Like it was like I kind of fell asleep a little bit, like in the middle.
That's what I mean. Like I
it sounds like I would. It did lose me a little bit, but it wasn't like by the time it ended, I wasn't like that was a complete waste of time.
Night, right?
Yeah.
That's. I wonder why they chose Sat. I feel like are people like I would assume most people are like out on a Saturday night, like not like let's watch Netflix.
They're also doing live performances on weekend nights, so Saturday night for him as well.
I mean, it stays on Netflix, so
exactly.
Yeah, I'm not that's usually I feel like that's normal. Things come out on Fridays and Saturdays.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a tough road out there, considering we all consume comedy in different ways now.
Yeah, exactly.
Chris Rock's just not. Seems like he's not hitting the mark.
Time
to hang it up.
Go work on your stuff.
Yeah. Come back to me when you've got something good. That's me as a big time magazine
You're
editor.
Like maybe keep workshopping that one.
Yeah. We'll think about that a little bit
longer. Back to the drawing board.
Maybe the next special.
So Monday we talked about everything happening with Vanderpump, and we talked about Dumois posting basically what seemed to be Raquel's PR strategy of victim. And then
what do you think about that, by the way? I'm sure you talked about it, a brief about her.
I mean, it's just like the most transparent thing.
Yep.
Like I agree. And anybody would see right through that. And so that's been shared. And then of course today TMZ posts an article that she has now attained a lawyer that has sent out messages to the fellow cast members because she claims she was filmed without her consent, and that Sandoval had these videos without her consent, and that Ariana may have sent it to herself, which they were putting into the revenge porn category. But this just falls into like exactly what that Dumois post was saying. And now this is the thing, like this is also very sensitive because that shit really happens to people.
Completely.
The revenge porn, like that stuff is so intense. But like in this case, it just feels like, oh, now she's grasping for anything in this situation.
Completely.
And she did have this PR team, and like she had a email in her Instagram bio yesterday that looked like it was like the new team.
Yeah.
And then now that's gone. So it's like, oh, they have already, the rumor was that they have already fired her because she, because of like inconsistencies, in her story, I guess still claiming that she,
they're Team Ariana. Sorry, sorry, we can't be your PR team because we're actually Team Ariana.
That like there's actually no black eyes, so like there's some like inconsistencies in her story. So this now Dumas post says she's now desperately trying to find new representatives to help her out. Sandoval is doing a full court press to keep her under a spell of control to prevent her from distancing and turning on him. Obviously, like Raquel's parents have gotten involved, which is where I think a lot of this is coming from too.
Yes.
This lawyer they are claiming was hired by her parents.
Okay.
They believe that Ariana recorded or sent herself evidence of cheating she found on Tom's phone and believe this to be an act of revenge porn, so they are considering their legal options against her. Also, her parents would like to go after Sandy for recording content without Rachel's consent. They're calling her Rachel.
Love it.
Without Rachel's consent. She's telling her parents that she would never do that. However, I don't think it will be too difficult to find people who can corroborate Raquel's participation in recording and sharing intimate content. No shame or judgment intended. She's just been doing it since her high school days, so it's laughable that she's trying to sell the story that this type of behavior is out of character for her. However, Tom is successful in keeping Raquel in lockstep. She obviously won't be pursuing that option. So that was an email sent in to Dumas.
Okay, so she's not going to sue him for this
quote-unquote
revenge porn.
This really feels like you're just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what will stick from what they could see at this point. And Lala like went off. There's this video going around where she's like, never have I gotten an email from a lawyer to my personal email. Yeah. She's like, contact my lawyer. That's why I have She's like, tell your Mickey Mouse lawyer that like if you want to get in contact with me, like send it to Daryl.
Yeah. Send it elsewhere.
Send it to my
it's
lawyer.
Not coming here.
I mean, that is incredibly unprofessional.
Completely
sending those to people's personal emails, especially for people that are on reality TV who like you know that they all have lawyers.
Exactly, you know they all have lawyers. You know
especially Lala. Like he's been through a lot of shit.
It's outrageous.
So I guess this is her game plan right now, or her family's game plan, and it's just not going to work. It's not. It's just going to feel extremely transparent.
None of this is going to work. I said I was texting with Rhea about these yesterday or the day before, because she was asking me if she thought that she had been too hard about Raquel.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't think so.
No.
Honestly, could have been harder. You know me though.
Yeah.
I'll go off for hours.
Yep.
But I think that the only way that Raquel can come back from any of this is on her knees begging and pleading, I'm sorry. That is the only way, because and then if this whole like recording the screen thing and she really didn't know about it, whatever, pursue that with Tom on your own time.
Totally.
That's a separate issue. But the now problem is that you're a shit person and a fucking bad friend.
Yeah, that conflicts with the rumors that they're like in love and want to be together. Like, well, she's not going to sue him now, so I don't know. Feels like there's a lot of different opinions.
Sandoval's going to end up with nobody, and I hope that happens. I hope he ends up with nobody, but it's his own reflection in the mirror. And he just stares at himself for the rest of the time, which he'll love, but one day he'll see the darkness inside of himself and he'll feel bad about it. And that will be the day that we'll all maybe get an actual apology from him. Do you think he's ever going to apologize to Ariana out loud?
Yeah, he will.
You think so? You think it's
I don't think it's going to be
like dripping. I don't think it's
going to be sincere, but
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It'll be dripping with like just I can't even think of the right word. Like he's such a grease ball to me.
He'll pull
like,
the classic like, oh, I just, what, and it's what we've all been reading.
I'm human.
He didn't
People fall out of love. There was
never the right time, and he didn't want to upset her.
That was my favorite. Hold on, I wrote it on my story, and I want to read exactly what I said because it was fucking insane. I
know, it was like her grandma died. Or grandpa was like...
It says, Tom said he didn't tell her about the affair with Raquel because he was worried about how it would impact her mental health, even claiming that he was especially concerned after her grandma died last year. And I said, oh, this is hilarious. That I didn't tell you I was betraying your trust and hurting you on the deepest level because I was worried it would make you feel bad. Like,
right. It's like, oh, you know what would hurt her mental health? cheating on her.
Cheating on her with her friend in the fucking house that you guys both live in, and all over the place wearing matching necklaces.
I know.
It's just like there are so many hurtful parts to this that I can't get past. And I said this too, that I obviously we blame Tom. Tom's a fucking scumbag. He's dead to us all, literally rotten hell. I think that Raquel should shoulder so much of this blame too, because she's smarter than that. She's a woman. She's a girl. How dare you treat another woman like that? You know how that feels. You know, well, again, you don't know how smart she is, but it's like she has to at least have some sort, like, do you not have any sort of allegiance to anyone? Like, there are lines that should be drawn, and it scares me, Fran, that people in this world exist like that.
I know,
because how do you fucking trust anybody? How do you have friends?
I know,
it's crazy. And I know this is reality TV and it's Hollywood and whatever, but this is real shit. Like, this is not for the cameras. This woman had an affair and they had matching necklaces. Like, I can't get over that.
I know.
I would never be able to look at a lightning bolt again. Like, you guys have to change your shit.
It's actually been really painful.
It's terrible.
It's been really painful. And
you guys have tattoos.
I know. It's
how do you look at your hand? How do you look at your wrist?
It's just terrible. And especially because she's wearing that necklace in pictures with Ariana. Like, it's
it's so fucked.
I know.
So
it's really,
sick
it actually is quite unfortunate. I've looked at it a bunch of times. No, believe me, I know.
Infidelity. That's all it means now. Harry Potter, infidelity.
I know. Thankfully, my skin is so dry. Gross. Thankfully.
I was wondering what you were doing there.
I know. Thankfully, our lightning bolt tattoos are more Harry Potter-esque in design.
They're way more Harry Potter.
Like, what they were wearing, like what Raquel was wearing, looks like that one.
It looks just like that. It looks just like that, which is unfortunate.
It looks just like that, which is
but that's what I'm saying. Like,
so
I can't,
unfortunate.
I can't be mixing, I only have enough space in my brain to hold enough things, and all the lightning bolt space is taken up by Harry Potter. Like, I can't have lightning bolt space taken up by Vanderpump. Like, I just can't. I only have room for two, and it's Harry Potter and a little bit of Chicks in the Office, and I can't have Raquel and Tom's matching necklaces haunting my dreams.
I know.
I can't have that.
Hurts.
Now I'm gonna be looking at this is the stance I'm gonna take moving forward, is that I hate guys in necklaces, because I don't want any motherfucker in this world to potentially have a matching necklace.
Who's got the other half of that necklace?
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a new thing I'm gonna bring up now. Like, it's just,
somebody have the
outrageous.
matching
outrageous.
twin.
Raquel, she's another one. Take a good long look in the fucking mirror, and after them spitting all this bullshit on your guys' show one day before, how dare she? How dare she?
I know.
I think that Sheena has redeemed herself, though, because she hit her in the face.
I completely.
I'm all set.
I said I feel bad for Sheena.
I'm hot and cold for Sheena, but
Sheena rode for Raquel, and then Raquel fucking spit in her face, basically.
Completely.
Like, Sheena had put herself out on the limb, out on a limb to like protect her and support her,
doing press with her.
Oh
like,
completely.
She was being a good friend, and she thought that she was being a good friend, and it sucks. But she rectified herself.
And I said,
she showed up with wine
for the sake of the show too, like helping her storyline.
Totally. Did you see the TikTok of them all of Sheena, Kristen, Sheena, Katie,
and Kristen,
and it was Kristen. Okay, showing up with the wine and the flowers and stuff. I was like, that's it. That's what you fucking need. Yes. These girls. If you showed up with wine and flowers to Ariana's house, then you're in. You're good.
Exactly.
We trust you.
A brand new couple that we saw them together. We thought, everyone was like, they're friends. They're friends. Her relationship with Mod Sun is over, which apparently was news to Mod Sun. I
saw that too. I read your blog because I wrote about this last night.
He claims that he didn't know that they even broke. I don't know. He's got a whole nother story to this. But Avril Lavigne and Tyga were spotted kissing in Paris. They've been to some fashion shows together. It looks like they are there as a couple together. I don't know what time frame was in between Mod Sun and Tyga. It is just the jump of the century. You could not go from two farther ends of the spectrum of Mod Sun and Tyga. But I mean, Avril Lavigne's dating history is,
it's a weird one.
It's a weird one. It's just
Tyga's probably the most left field, no? Or maybe not.
Brody Jenner was pretty
crazy.
random.
That was pretty ridiculous.
The guy from Nickelback kind of checks out.
That checks out. I would say anybody that's in music,
Mod Sun made
that's
sense.
Similar to hers makes sense. I would say. Because
but this opposites attract.
Rack City is a fucking jam. So I'll be the first to say it.
So Avril Lavigne is out here kissing Tyga in Paris.
That's so crazy
and
to me.
The best part of all this is that everyone jokes that it just comes back to the Car Jenners, right?
Because I saw our girl Publis. Shout out.
Publis posted a good graphic.
Great graphic.
Tyga obviously dated Kylie Jenner. Kylie Jenner related to Brody Jenner, who dated Avril Lavigne. Now these two are together. Tyga also Black China Rob. Like it's just they're all connected in multiple ways. Like Tyga has somehow made so many different connections.
Tyga, you know what? I'm starting to think like Tyga in that group. Yes, everything comes back to the Kardashian Jenners, but Tyga might be the one holding them all together. Yeah. Like without him, it's like, all right, well, we only have a couple of connections.
You know what's
here.
crazy? Tyga's only 33.
Damn, he's done so much in his life.
Like Avril Lavigne's only 38.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought she was older.
I guess so.
I mean, she popped off as a teenager.
She was young. Yeah, she was young.
At 16 years old, she signed a 2-album recording contract.
She never seemed young to me because she was always so like punk rock, break the rules, fuck the world,
totally.
you know? So
I think it was like, all the eye makeup too. You were like,
totally.
You were like, she's old.
She's a cool.
She's cool and older.
This is her clone, right?
Yeah, this is her clone.
Jessica.
All the conspiracy theories. Yeah. Whatever the fuck her name is. What was I going to say?
Cannot believe
you know
that
what this makes me
sing at Fashion
It's
Week.
crazy. What a statement. Number one. Number two. In your thing, you wrote about Mod Sung saying that if their
Shout out
engagement
Devin,
was
that's not me, or Sarah, whoever's writing the blogs
is
these
it?
days.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Sarah.
Yeah. Sarah. Thank you for writing it then.
I will not take the credit while Sarah's sitting in the
Fran's
room.
name on it. I was just copy pasting.
She's my ghostwriter.
Perfect. Well, you did an excellent job.
Yes.
But you mentioned that that Mod Sun said, if our engagement's over, like it's news to me, like that passive aggressive, whatever. I think you said that a second ago. But that reminded me of, and I think I saw another friend of mine tweet this morning, is a little bit like Paul Mescal, Phoebe Bridgers, Bo Burnham, where Paul Mescal was kind of like, news to me if we're broken up. And
we
then
never really got
like
into that drama too much on this show.
Oh, all right. Well, there's not a lot to talk about. It's just that
no, there's not.
It's just no one really knows what happened. It's just that suddenly Bo Burnham broke up with his
I think you are much more invested into like Paul Mescal's life than Rhea is for that.
Oh, for sure.
But
I also love Bo Burnham. I'm on the fence about Phoebe Bridgers. I think that she's a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want the
Bridgers
fans to come for me, but well, you know, she's a Taylor Swift girl. She's opening up for Taylor Swift.
I was going to say she's on the tour.
I'm excited to see
on the
her.
tour.
SZA just brought her out, right?
Probably. Everybody loves her. I think she's good. She's great. Her music is not always my style. Like she's a little you'd think it would be. She's not so much like sad girl. She's more like sad girl with daddy issues, and I'm not always having daddy issues. So I just don't identify with every single one of her songs. But that is kind of her vibe.
I don't think I could tell you one song.
She's got some good ones.
Yeah, my personal preference as far as like if we want to go that route, like I like Gracie Abrams more than.
Totally agree. I like her
similar kind of vibe.
Yes, and I just like her music more.
Yeah,
and I think her vibe is better. But so Phoebe Bridgers was engaged to Paul Mescal, and people call him like the first husbands of the Eras tour. Him and Joe Alwyn, because Paul and Joe and Phoebe and Taylor, and so it's like they're always involved. And then one day, Phoebe Bridgers is like just kissing Bo Burnham on the street in East Village. People are like, "What the fuck?" And so that's all we know. We don't know anything else. And then
there was a profile.
Weird, news to me, basically.
Yeah,
same
and like
thing.
a magazine
and
did a profile on her. I forget what magazine. I think like fairly recently, and referred to him as like ex-fiance, and then it got edited out or something.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They're being really sketchy about like the relationship status.
Yeah,
so I don't know. But maybe they just don't want any of it public. Although if you don't want any of it public, why are you making out with Bo Burnham in the street? So I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
It's the same thing.
Similar,
it's like
very
hello,
similar.
like Avril Lavigne is kissing Tyga in the street.
It reminds me
Paris.
of that, where it's like, what is this pairing? How did it come about?
Right.
What's
Son's just
here?
like, shh, okay.
Where's your fiance at?
I know. So Mod Sun posted on Monday he wrote, "I'm so grateful to have real friends who will sit on the phone with me for 2 hours." He tweeted, "If you got those people in your life, do not let them go." Fans flooded in his messages, words of support. Keep your head up. His emotional message came after Avril Lavigne was seen kissing Tyga at Fashion Week.
Damn.
which is apparently very casual and very new. So says a source to People Magazine about those two.
What's crazy about these photos, though, like the first ones we saw where it was like paparazzi style photos where they're just kind of hugging and whatever, I was like, all right, clearly it's like a new relationship they're trying to keep under wraps. But they're at Fashion Week together, holding hands, major photography going on at Fashion Week. Like the only reason to go is to see clothes and be photographed. Like that's what happens at Fashion Week. And so they know that this is happening. So this to me is a statement. Like they're like, we are a couple. Here we are making out. Here are these high quality images of us kissing that we knew that were being taken next to us. And here you go.
Yeah.
Like that's just kind of, so this is the announcement in my opinion.
I agree. And the rumor was that they are like, what people were saying is that they had been friendly before, so they known each other.
How do they even meet each other? Again, they have a pretty significant age difference too. Like that's
5.
I mean, not significant, but I guess just I'm wondering like how you meet. How does a 33-year-old man meet a 38-year-old woman? I guess you know it's a little maybe that's sexist.
She's
of me
been
to be
married
thinking the other way. I feel like I can meet older men all over the place because they're creeps. But
I don't think that's a crazy.
She's
age
been married
difference,
twice.
Wasn't she married to one of the Maddens? Did I make that up?
No,
Or
she was
dated
married
one
to
of them a long time ago, maybe in our
a
youth.
guy from Sum 41.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of.
I bet it's some
Sorry.
like agent, like whatever, like.
And then Chad Kroger.
Chad Kroger. What do you mean? Oh, agent.
Like someone in the industry, like they work with some mutual people, and
as how they met. You mean?
Yeah.
You're so right. That's and also probably just like events and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're famous people
Hollywood,
know other
I
famous
just,
people. Yeah.
Like none of the rules apply.
Yeah, maybe they live in the same neighborhood. What's the it's Jennifer Coolidge. Jennifer Coolidge, who seems to live in like the cool neighborhood, where she was saying like all my neighbors like invite me to their parties now and whatever. But it sounds like she lives in a cool neighborhood that I would like to live in.
Yeah, so that's just a brand spanking new relationship that we'll have to keep our eyes on. Pete Davidson, who's also in a new relationship with Chase Suey Wonders, got into a car accident over the weekend. This is another thing we didn't talk about on Monday just because, Vanderpump consumed our entire brain. But Saturday night, around 11 p.m., Pete was driving, allegedly no drugs or alcohol involved, but he was speeding. Literally hopped a curb in Beverly Hills, hit a fire hydrant, and then like skidded across this person's front lawn and then hit the corner of this person's house.
Insane.
In his Mercedes. They're okay. Nobody was injured. Now, there's been interviews with the family, which are a little funny, just because it was like they said that there was a 16-year-old girl in the house. She thought there was an earthquake, but in reality, Pete Davidson drove into her house.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Imagine being a 16-year-old girl and
right?
Pete Davidson drives into your house.
The teens. The father told TMZ that she was home alone reading. Which is also hilarious. 16, like what a classic. I just want to focus on this. What a classic dad. I mean, maybe she was, because I definitely had my Saturday nights at 16 where I was home alone reading.
Same.
Like, oh, sweet innocent Susie was she was just up in her room reading at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night when crash Pete Davidson came flying into the side of the house.
She was probably up there like wearing, like taking nudes and like
it's
slutty TikTok dances with like the book is collecting dust on the floor and Pete Davidson
and she's like texting her friends
Beverly Hills mansion,
or she either that or her friends that she had over that were all boozing in the kitchen. She's like, get out get outside. I'm telling my dad I was reading.
Exactly. She's swirling mouthwash and she's like, what? Pete Davidson, Chase Suey Wonders. What are you guys doing here?
You say, like,
apparently she thought there was an earthquake, which honestly I would understand. I would also probably have that.
Well, because it doesn't.
I would jump to that too. Like if my house shook and I was living in California, I'd be like, oh, earthquake.
100%.
Wouldn't assume somebody drove into the side of the house.
He didn't drive into the house, right? He just like hit the house.
No, it looks like he skimmed the house.
Right.
The vehicle struck outside the living room, penetrating the exterior wall and causing a window to pop out of its frame.
Oh, okay. So
I mean, there was some exterior
like,
damage.
Doing,
all right.
Where you like lose control like that and like.
I mean, he smashed up this car. Did you see the car?
Like, was he like?
Yeah, that car is fucked.
Like drag racing, like what was he doing?
You know what? That's his fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like he does that so often. It's in his movie.
Look, maybe he's speeding. He took a turn like too tight and lost control. It happens all the time.
Happens constantly. And also too, we know he has said on multiple occasions in jokes, he did it in his movie, that he an adrenaline thing he does is speeding cars. Like he speeds cars around and like, closes his eyes and takes his hands off the wheels and is like,
sounds like you just
flirting
have a
with death.
wish. Yeah.
That's his whole thing. His whole thing is I'm flirting with death and death and I only have one life and blah blah blah.
Well, it's one thing if you do that in the car by yourself. Like when you
say,
have somebody else, you have your girlfriend in the seat next to you.
Right.
They're very lucky that neither of them were hurt.
What do you think
I'm
that conversation
shocked
is
that nobody's
like
dead. I'm
when
shocked that nobody's dead.
The kid in the house like comes to the door and it's Pete Davidson.
What do you think do you think he was all banged up too? Like he's, hey man, can I use your phone? It's Pete Davidson. I just like, what a scene. Like I feel like I would feel so fucking bad and guilty if that's me, if I'm Pete Davidson and I'm dicking around in my Mercedes in Beverly Hills and I'm Mr. Hollywood all of a sudden and I run into someone's house because I'm an asshole driving around. Like I would feel like such a dick.
I would
like,
be
I feel like you gotta,
so happy if I was a kid though, because it's like obviously he's gonna pay for it. Like
he's got to, right? Of course,
he's not gonna not pay you, and it's
also
Pete, it's like what a story you have.
Yeah.
Now.
What
so
story.
TMZ said that
you're not, it's not the last you're gonna see of him because he has to pay the bill. Yeah.
TMZ said that the dad said that she was a bit traumatized, but Pete and Chase may have cushioned the blow somewhat by apologizing to her. It was like, yeah, that'll do the trick.
That's
like just
hilarious.
Like maybe take a selfie.
Right.
Really sorry.
Right.
Here,
on the way out, there's like blood coming out of his eyebrow, and they're all like shaken up, and the house is destroyed. She's like, "Can I just take a quick selfie?"
And obviously, like
the
insurance company will be the ones that are going to go after Pete to pay for this.
Of course.
The girl's dad says he harbors no ill will toward Pete. He's not going to sue and is just glad everyone's okay.
I think that's fine.
Yeah,
I think that because
honestly, that's lucky because you could get somebody that would go the total opposite direction. I was like, I'm gonna get as much money out of this
guy. But you're living
in
Beverly Hills, and I think they said like what, a $7 million house. Like I don't think that guy needs.
Right. Yeah, he's not worried about it, and he's fine with the story. And it's like I said, it doesn't sound
and
like
he's
enough
probably
damage
like
he's done.
like insurance will take care of it.
Always, yeah completely.
So,
damn.
Pete, what a wild move.
What a wild move. What a wild time for him. When do you think that he's been dating this girl for a little while
I do
now,
like this relationship for him.
I do too. Lie. I think it's a good one for him. I think these other women were too famous, and I think that he gets lost in the sauce. And this girl maybe brings him down to earth a little bit.
Friendship to dating, I think, is a good route for him also.
I think so too.
Because it's like not as aggressive right off the bat because he has, obviously he's jumped headfirst into some of these relationships. And I think like having an established friendship
completely
before dating for him
like maybe
is smart.
Agreed. Maybe he hold off on the tattoos a little bit longer this time.
Exactly.
Just a thought, just a suggestion. Just wanting the best for Pete Davidson.
Exactly. If you're planning a wedding right now, you want to make sure you're getting every detail right. The flowers, your dress, the bridesmaid dresses. With everything going on, brides sometimes forget about the groomsmen, but nothing will mess up your pictures like the friend who shows up in a royal blue tuxedo, sticking out. He doesn't match with anybody else. But with Black Tux, you can select styles that are bride approved and invite the wedding party to rent or buy your assigned suit or tux. They'll get an email from Black Tux, and all they need to do is put in their measurements. They can take a fit survey and order the suit themselves. You can track their progress along the way and send reminders through Black Tux. So if someone didn't order their tux, you can send them a nudge. A great way to stay on top of those groomsmen. Sometimes you lose track of those guys.
You gotta keep on track.
And Black Tux makes sure you're ahead of the game. So if you reserve 6 or more looks for your wedding party, the groom rents for free. You can even choose to pay for the tux for any or all of the wedding parties. So you can rent or buy. The Black Tux is the best place to go when you need a tuxedo for a wedding or special night. And right now, when you go to thebblacktux.com/chicks and use code CHICKS, you'll save $20 off your order. That's THEBLACKTUX.com/chicks. Code CHICKS to save $20. That's thebblacktux.com/chicks. Code CHICKS.
Kaitlyn, thank you for coming on. You're really our first Cutting Stems guest we've ever had.
What?
It's true.
I think I asked for this. I was like, can I be a guest on Cutting Stems? I think my team reached out to you. I was like, I want to be a part of this.
We always feel bad asking people because it is late. So it's like, we're like,
not me being desperate.
Yeah. No, actually, Kaitlyn,
we love it.
Not Joe and Serena did an episode. Now that I remember, Kelly, when with it on the.
I was going to say
But they're like to me, they're a package deal, and they were our guest hosts. Like they came in and they ran the show. You know what I mean? Like they came in and they were like, Joe was like, here I am, I'm going to run the show. Yeah, it helps out that they're right around the corner, basically. So it helps out for us.
Yeah,
but yes, other than that,
Bachelor Nation,
the only one here.
Yeah, we said the Bachelor Nation bat signal out that for that one. Like, hello, anybody help. They always come to the rescue. But guys, we're almost to the end here. And I just like this episode specifically, now that we're going into hometowns is when I really do feel like it's going to get a little bit more unpredictable. This episode, very predictable. It was just, you were just waiting. Like as soon as you knew Brooklyn was getting that date, it was like, he's going to send Brooklyn home. Like it just felt very predictable. They're in Budapest. Kaitlyn, what have you thought of their locations this season? They've gotten to go to some cool places.
I'm telling you what, they saved some serious budget over the quarantine years because I was like, wait, what? They're going everywhere that I would have dreamt to go. And again, I never want to seem like bitter at the places I went, but I'm like, come on, man. I went to Iowa twice. I went to South Dakota. I went to Texas. I went to New York. They thought like, oh, she's Canadian. She's so like living the dream out here in the States using her passport. But yeah, they're getting to go to some pretty incredible places. And I am clearly jealous.
Even when you guys were hosting, I feel like you didn't get to get to
you really got screwed.
The Jesse Palmer treatment of just like popping up in his sweaters and like awesome places.
How about Jesse Palmer?
Not only was I not getting paid the host role, I was also stuck in like a hotel where our meal options were like chicken tenders and fries in New Mexico. But again, I enjoyed it. I really did. I would do it again.
Exactly.
It is fun, but I'm sure it would have been a lot more luxurious if you were in Budapest by any chance. I last week, where were they last week, Fran? That you looked it up on a map? Estonia. I had to look up Budapest on a map today. So I just want you to know that you're not alone in not recognizing Eastern Europe, because I did not know exactly where it was. And I was like, damn, I should probably know this.
I feel that.
So it's pretty picturesque. It's not a place I would ever think like, oh yeah, we're going to go here. We're going to find a romance in Budapest. Like not something that I would think of, but I guess, I don't know.
But can I tell you, it does not matter where you go. Again, it could be Iowa and it will always be the perfect place to fall in love.
Oh, exactly. Like
correct.
The opening line is always, "Oh, Budapest, the perfect city for falling in love." They could send them to like Guantanamo Bay, and he would have to be like, Guantanamo Bay, the perfect place to fall in love.
You just have to wheel in a hot tub. Love will be had.
I swear. Yep, the same wooden hot tub every time.
Exactly. Do you think it's the same wooden hot tub every time? Like I know that they can't travel with a hot tub. No way. They bring it on the plane?
I would, no. Okay, I doubt they bring it on the plane. Okay. But when they were in quarantine, that it was the same one. Like they would drive it in from LA to New Mexico with the crew and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I love that information. I'm so glad to know that. That's insane.
Reused hot tub. But Zach is at the point where he's had one-on-ones with everybody. So now people are getting double one-on-ones, which is really like the big sign here. Jess would have been very upset if she hadn't been picked at this point. But Katie got the second one-on-one, and they had a perfect date. Kelly, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this because I feel like Katie and Zach have had not one issue, and it's almost like is going so well that if he does pick her, they're going to get like into a fight when the show ends or something, because it's just,
I agree.
So well.
They're so right. Like they're so too well. They're like so in sync and they feel good together and whatever. And that's fine. But I'll tell you something. I do feel like it's more of a friends vibe, but like flirty friends. Like, oh, they're flirty friends. They're hanging out. They're having a good time, whatever. That's kind of the vibe I get. Also, remind me, is Katie the one that lives in his hometown or they live in the same town?
There's a girl, or maybe she's gone. One of them lives in like the same town as Zach, and I think it's
convinced.
Katie.
I'm convinced Katie is Canadian because tonight she said grade 8 instead of the 8th grade, and that's what we say in Canada.
That's a fair argument. There was a girl here that was definitely in the same. I'm gonna look in the chat and see if the chat is telling me. Chat, please tell us where she's from. Let's see. Oh, I'm right. People are saying they're from the same place. They both live in Austin, Texas.
Oh, they're from Austin.
In my head, I've always been like, oh, okay, well, the proximity thing, true. But the proximity thing, I was like, that's a leg up for sure. And at least I would say guarantees a ticket to hometowns at the very least. And they do get along really well. They're in the same area. Yeah. It all seems very convenient. They get along so well. They're so similar, this and that. And again, as we know, that doesn't always mean, a love story. But I do think that she's definitely she's obviously going to hometown. So it's like, we'll have to see what happens there.
Yeah. Kaitlyn, what do you think of Katie?
I'm actually, I feel like such a fan watching seasons lately instead of an insider, because you telling me that, I'm like, what?
Kate, so she lives in Austin, but she is Canadian, Kaitlyn. You're right.
I knew
She's from Kingston, Ontario. People are saying.
I freaking knew it because
I
get
really
called out
did.
for that all the time. There's so many weird things with saying, like, I always say like grade 1, grade 2, and Americans are like, what? We say the second grade. Okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm watching it now. Like I forget that I know inside scoops, or like you saying that makes me feel silly for not seeing that for myself. They do have just friendship flirty vibes. I was here sitting thinking they were in love, but you're right. It's there's not like that.
Compared to
but I don't feel that with anyone.
girls.
No, I don't feel that. I don't feel like he wants to jump on anyone. Like he's so in love. I don't feel like there's a clear front runner.
That's a good point. I would say that I think that he sexually, I don't think he's jumping on anybody. Like I feel like I have yet to see him like get a boner for any of these girls. I'll be honest, but I do think
maybe that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Like I do feel like chemistry wise, I still think after last week, his like chemistry and conversations, and I guess a little bit of sexual energy in like a hot tub with Ariel was something else. Like the most I had seen thus far myself. Mm-hmm. Like maybe I didn't notice other people, but yeah, with Katie, it wasn't that same kind of energy. It just felt a little more like we're like young kids messing around in a foreign city, and we're like gonna take a shot and we're gonna be silly, and it was cute and it was great to watch. But for some reason, I didn't get that like, wow, this is a burning, passionate love.
Especially at this point with going to meet families, where it's like usually you do start to feel like you're both falling in love at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I would be more worried about that, because I do get what you're saying. I would be more worried if he was overly affectionate or sexual with the other women, but he's kind of the same. And I agree that there isn't really like a clear front runner out of this top 4. Like I could see it being any of them. It's just really, I don't know. It's going to be where I honestly think it's going to be whichever girl is the most confident about it to Zach. Because we'll talk about Kat leaving or, being sent home. But like with Kat, I just felt like this week she started to have some doubts. And as soon as Zach picked up on it, he was like, well, now she's gone, because I got all these other girls here that don't have any doubts at all.
Well,
every single time
that's his
any
MO.
girl has, any sliver of like, ooh, confrontation or argument or like any sliver
at first
of doubt,
that was
like,
really refreshing. Yeah, at first it was refreshing. You're like, oh, he's getting rid of the drama, and now you're like, oh no, he's just getting rid of anyone who isn't like, I'm obsessed with you in full confidence and I'm here for this, let's go.
Yes, which
completely,
is kind of a red flag,
and
could be an issue.
I also don't even think I was never really like a total fan of Kat. I had thought in my head that she was going to go home, just again based on like the little tiny snippet of drama we had with her like last week. But I feel like she didn't even really say, I'm not into Zach. The mentalist guy, who I love, by the way, went on and just asked, like, did you question this process? Did you think about leaving? And she said, yes, I have, because this process is hard. And she was just talking about the process. I would say that if he had asked that to any of the other girls, they would have said the same thing. Like, of course, like one night you went home and cried in your pillow and wished that you were at home. Like, I feel like that, of course that's going to happen. This is something like unlike anything they've ever experienced.
Not to Zach.
But not to Zach, right? Not to Zach. Not to Zach.
You could
feel his face.
There's no grace from him.
Yeah.
Katie said something like, I can't remember what she said, but he was like, oh, and now I'm confused because you're confused. And I'm like, aren't we all a little confused here? I feel like that was so real for her to be like, you're about to meet my family and I haven't got a one-on-one date and I don't feel like this is my husband. So isn't that okay to be a little confused over that? That's what I thought.
Absolutely.
Isn't confusion a part of the love process? Like, I feel like that is lost on Zach. Like he is so like, he's so in the process and he is so dedicated to finding love that he's not leaving any room for like nuance or reality at all so far. I like him, but he's very intense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You can feel that way, and it seems to be just getting more intense. But I mean, that date with Katie did go well. She got a rose, so she knew she's headed to hometowns. And then they did this group date with this mentalist that honestly was one of my favorite group dates that they've done this season. I love a mentalist. Like,
so into it.
I don't want to be in that chair, but I want to watch it happen to everybody else.
I want to be in the chair. I want to be a mentalist. I want to study him. I want to know his tricks. Like, I actually think Jason calls me a witch sometimes because I truly believe that I am a mentalist. So, well, okay.
We're 2 out of 3 witches on this show, right? Kelly is also.
This is a witch. This is a witch program.
We're pro-witch.
Self-proclaimed.
Wait, and if
majorly pro.
So wait, you have doubts?
A shit ton of candles. About what? What do you mean?
No, not you, Kelly.
Fran.
I'm just not a witch.
Fran's sitting there judging both of us right now, and I was like,
she's chilling. She doesn't want to get involved in our riffraff, Kaitlyn.
Exactly.
She's like, no, I don't have time for the riffraff.
That's all I say. Yeah.
She respects
Fran.
us. Yeah.
Fran, if you don't
your practices.
If you don't believe I can move things with the power of my mind, put your hand up.
Wow. God, Fran, you look so stupid now.
I know, yeah. Oh, she got me.
I got her good.
Wait, what were you saying? So wait, Jason thinks you're a witch?
Yeah, he thinks I'm a legit witch. Like, sometimes he'll just have a deck of cards and he'll ask me which one he's going to pull, and I'll do it a lot of times.
That's incredible. That's an amazing skill to have. Good.
You're on your way.
Great. I love that.
Yeah. So many crystals.
Yes. There you are. All the crystals. So many crystals. You're dropping crystals. I forgot I have a crystal. It's in my purse, actually.
You're on your way to being this mentalist.
Exactly. The mentalist, I thought, was a fun idea. And I think that whenever they do things that don't involve weird food stuff. I hate that, Kaitlyn. I don't like any of the food dates. It's a big no for me. But all of the other, right. The other ones where it's a, I don't know, tricks and funny and a little lighthearted, and they don't have to perform anything. Those are always good because it kind of makes everybody on the same playing field. Everyone's uncomfortable. Zach's uncomfortable. The girls are. It's not that one's judging another. It's all just an open flow conversation. Everybody at the end to be like, whoa.
The freaking football and who's more competitive and athletic, and then the one team has to go home. I'm like, can't we all just be vulnerable in a circle every date? Yeah,
I know. Wouldn't that be nice? That would just be nice.
Yeah,
the football thing is always I don't want to go and play football and get covered in bruises and then have to go home because I know that I'm not going to win because I'm not going to run up that field. It's just not happening.
No,
it's not my
I'm
vibe.
with you. Not my vibe.
This was a very good choice of a date to kind of get into these girls' heads a little bit right before going into hometowns. So it definitely did the job it was supposed to do. And some opened up more than others to Zach. But like you said, it's really hard to see a clear front runner. There was one moment where he kind of pushed Gabby up against the wall a little bit. And I was like, oh, that's a little something. But
That was a little
he likes
something.
Gabby.
He said, you give the best hugs. Oh my God. And it was like,
I know. I was like, bone or kill. It was he like pushed up and was like, you give the best hugs.
Yeah. It's like
so weird. He's just kind of awkward, I guess. Like he's clearly awkward. He's said the whole time, but every once in a while he's got like, a little charisma. I was entranced by him the first couple episodes. I was like, Zach is hot. He's got like a good personality and I'm into it. And I still feel that way, but I do think he's starting to feel it. Like it's down to the wire and he's got to start making some choices.
Well, I don't know if he like has that sexual, I don't know if he has that sexual energy, but we could have like a Pilot Pete situation where none of us thought he had it. And then we were proven very wrong.
That's what I think. That's what I think is so exactly true. Because they're teasing that whole, the whole fantasy suite thing, which I'm sure we'll get to, where you're like, he's not going to have sex. And then you're like, oh, he clearly has sex. Yeah. But that's, I'm saying like I actually reached out to Zach and I apologized because I was like, before everything started, I said, I know I like chirped you and I said you were probably really boring, but like you're part of the family now. And totally, we all said it. Rooting for you to be happy. And then I did. I found like he had some charm and some humor and he was good. And I just feel like he's so tired right now.
Has to be. I
think he's tired.
Yeah. Definitely. Even after the fact, like even just even watching it back, I'm sure he's tired. I'm sure he's like, Jesus Christ, like this again. Like I can't. God.
It's that part of the journey where you're just exhausted and you're like, I don't want to deal. I already know who like my top 3 are at this point. I don't want to deal with this bullshit, and you're tired.
And he had COVID, like he was like quarantined.
It's a long symptom. He's tired.
He's tired.
Fair.
Gabby got the group date rose, and then honestly, the other 2 parts of this episode were where the predictability came in. I think we all knew there was no shot he was going to let Greer come back into the process. It was just way too late. Relationships were established. Like I felt bad for her because it's like, oh, the poor girl was just in a hotel room, locked in for days, couldn't talk to anyone, couldn't come out, finally does get to come out, and then he's fine and travels from wherever she was to Budapest to meet them. And then it was like, time to actually pack those bags.
I hope she is collecting Delta miles or like any sort of airline miles, because otherwise that could have been an email or a Zoom call, which we all know they're capable of.
Right.
100%. They went to, I'm trying to figure out where Greer was, because did she ever even make it to Estonia, or was she like stuck in London this whole time? Or did they drag her through both?
I think she was in London.
I wonder
in London.
Yeah. I think so too. Which like, Kelly, I mean, there are worse places to get stranded with COVID, but I guess like.
What was the guy? Why am I spacing on his name? On Gabby and Rachel's season that got COVID and then just like disappeared.
Oh,
and he's
what was his name?
The one that he picked Rachel and then he picked Gabby and then he went back. Like
I see his face so clearly.
Logan.
I can't.
Logan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
They should have just did what they did.
Wow.
Like Logan, like got COVID and then like just disappeared. There was no conversation. Yeah. He was just like sent home. Like Greer should have just. They should have just been like, so sorry. Greer's no longer with us. They always say it like the person's passed. Like it's like Greer's no longer part of this journey.
Fortunately, Jesse all the time. Fortunately, no longer with us every time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too much.
And I think that would have been better because honestly, we all saw that one coming. And unfortunately, Brooklyn was the same kind of thing. I think he liked Brooklyn, but there was just we all like, it just wasn't close to where these other relationships are. And Kaitlyn, we talk every week like that Zach is very enthusiastic about the women he likes. Like these dates with Ariel, he's like, Ariel's amazing. She's this, she's that. Like he really pumps up the ones he likes. And not that he says bad things about anybody, but it's like, you can tell when he doesn't have that same feeling towards certain girls. And Brooklyn was one of them.
Maybe that's why I was so shocked because I I just caught up recently and I didn't watch the first few episodes, which was the first time in a long time that I haven't done that. So I haven't like been able to calculate Zach's emotions, where this I was like, Brooklyn. I was so sad. I was like, but no. I thought she was top 3 material.
Maybe if they spend more time, like I don't know.
Yeah. I was really surprised. I thought Kat was going to get that date. Like, I really did not think Brooklyn was going to get that date. Once Brooklyn got that date, I knew he was sending her home. He was like, I'm going to do this privately.
I thought they were both on the chopping block after that weird, like when they were having a tiff about the like kid before the date and whatever, like all that drama. I remember, like, I don't think Zach really knew about that, but he could sense that something was up. And again, like the minute that he has senses for drama, like he just, whether it's immediately or it's the next episode, like you're gone. Like if you're not, I don't know. It's something about it. I don't think that, I think that them on the date though, him and Brooklyn together, I think Zach was just like checked out of it because she was trying, you know what I mean? Like she was really working, trying to make that connection, keep it. And Zach was like head in the clouds the whole time, I felt.
Yeah, I also feel, I'm saying this because I can and because I've been in the situation, but I feel like all the women just synced up on their period this week too. Like the emotions, you could just tell. And I'm like, I had so much sympathy for them because I know what that feels like. And I know people out there that are watching believe in either full moon, your period coming earlier, or the women syncing their cycles when you're all spending too much time together. And not only are your emotions running high because of so many other factors, but when all of you start your period at the same time, I swear it's powerful and also very obvious.
Yeah. Well, at one point, who was crying? Maybe Gabby, who was like, I've just been emotional the past couple days. I was like, you have your period. I know it. I can tell.
Crying,
I'm just emotional.
Also, they're all also like kind of happy. Like it's like they're sad for themselves, but then they're like, but I'm really happy for you. Like,
I was like, oh, I feel this.
Yeah. We're definitely at that. Exactly. We're definitely at that point where they're like,
it's synced sisters.
They're friends and it's a lot. So Charity, when they took Brooklyn's bags out, Charity was very visibly upset.
Beside herself.
Yeah. So that was very, very sad. I felt bad for Brooklyn too, because it's just one of those scenarios where Zach is probably like, I really wish I was allowed to break up with her at the beginning of this date.
Yeah.
Because the poor girl just poured her heart to me about her grandfather and how she was raised and all these things and how she's ready to bring me home. And now I have to tell her that I am breaking up with her.
I think that's why Zach gets emotional towards the end, because he's like, this is why I wanted to do this earlier. Now she opens up, but it's nice. I always want people like Brooklyn to understand this. It's not embarrassing to open up like that and then get sent home. It's actually really nice to get to know her a little bit better and understand her and see that softer side. So she should have no, shame or guilt or embarrassment around sharing those things and then going home, because you're like, I'm really glad we got to like see that side of her.
I agree.
I totally agree. Especially as a viewer, it's like, it's nice to see that as a viewer. It is sad at the end. And I do appreciate though, that Zach does keep getting emotional about this, because that means he has a soul. You know what I mean? Like it sucks for him to have to do this. He knows he has to do this. Everybody knows that he has to do it, but he's still touched by their stories, touched by their lives. And, I'm sure if he could marry them all, he would. That's the vibe I get.
Maybe he should do like a Sister Wives vibe.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, we'll just head over to like Utah or wherever they do that. It's cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That show's on TLC.
Oh
yeah, right. Oh yeah. In Utah, right? That's where they live.
Just hop networks, and he'll be good to go. Exactly. He does send home Kat at the rose ceremony, which he is also upset about because he is, I think, very surprised. He definitely felt like they had a super strong connection, but I really think it's like as soon as she started to get nervous and kind of need the reassurance from him, he was like, well, now I don't know why she's not so confident. Like this. Are we
finding that to be like a red flag for Zach, that he just flipped flips on them as
It's
soon as
definitely a
they have any
pattern.
insecurities. Yeah, it's a pattern.
Yes, it's certainly a pattern, if anything. And I would say definitely a red flag. It's only a red flag because he doesn't recognize that he's doing it and do anything about it. Like he doesn't ever take a second to think, am I in the wrong here? It's very much like, this is my show and I'm running it, and tough, you know? That's just
because
he's
what
kind of
happens
intense
if
in that way.
His final two are both going to be understandably insecure and questioning and wondering what they're getting into or if it's them. And I'm so curious to see how he handles these kinds of emotions when they're very valid.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I keep saying I'm watching out for those conversations as the group gets smaller and smaller, because I feel like in his mind it's so easy to just not deal with the conflict when he knows there's so many other women that are there for him. It's like, oh, right, Greer, she can go.
I got 8 others.
Jess, she can go. Like, I like them.
I already got a couple brunettes.
But I got all these other girls that like really like me. So yes, definitely when it gets down to a smaller group, it'll be interesting. He does look like he's gonna get tested a little bit in hometowns next week, as always. As always, we have a double whammy. Honestly, I'm a little bit worried about this women tell all, because they had no drama. Like, I don't even know what are they going to fight about during this?
There will always be the auditions for Paradise. There will always be the people who are going to create some drama or stand up for someone else. And we know a lot will happen when Women Tell All? Next week?
Yeah, it's double episode, Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There'll be something to create drama around that I have no doubt.
And so do we also think that when we see the preview for Fantasy Suites that he went in with the mindset of like, I'm not going to have sex with anybody, and then he just has sex with one person?
Yes.
I think probably.
And that's okay. I don't know what's going to happen, because if he realizes in that moment that this is his person, I don't know if somebody's going to make him feel shame around it, but if it is his person, I hope he does not feel shame around that.
I know. I wish he didn't give we'll have to see the whole episode, obviously, but it seems like he kind of gave himself that role, which is like, why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself?
Right.
Why are you giving yourself the rule? And also, why are you, like, if you to yourself, I'm like, all right, I want to really try to like spend the night with these girls, get to know them. Like, I don't want any expectation of sex, like whatever. That I totally understand. And I also not wanting them to have any expectation of sex. Right. Understandable too. But in that, I feel like the girls should already have that, like, no expectation of sex. But for him to like announce it and be like, no sex, guys, don't even fucking try it. You know what I mean? Like, that to me, then now all the girls know, like, well, he's not having sex. So like, if you have sex with him, let me know, because apparently, you know, he's two-timing some of us. And
I wonder if they're doing that thing where they're all in the same room and hotel after. Like, I wonder if they're separated or all together. But I mean, I kind of understand where Zach's coming from, because I am a virgin. So
exactly. We thought that you would. That's why we had you on tonight.
Yes.
Totally get it.
Truly unfathomable. Just cannot believe he would make a decision like that.
No.
Nope.
All right, Kelly, do you have the YouTube up? Do we want to take some questions from
I do have the YouTube up, and I asked for questions already.
Oh, so Kelly, you're just so ahead of the game.
I know. I'll tell you what, though. I did ask it a little while ago, so it's going to take me a minute to scroll.
He's going to scroll up, but I'm sure there'll be something.
Take me a minute to scroll. People are really popping off in the chat. They're loving it.
Oster, Kaitlyn.
Oh, that's fun.
Let's see.
The chat is always a good time. People really just love to talk about
They love to chat, right? They're just chatting with themselves. It's great.
Yeah.
Who are we thinking? Who are we thinking for Fantasy Suites? Oh, shoot. Sorry. The chat's moving too fast. Who are we thinking for Fantasy Suites, and who do you think he slept with? So who do we think doesn't make it past hometowns? And then second parter, who does he have sex with?
Right now, my top 3 is, from what we have, is Ariel, Katie, Gabby. I'm going to go...
Ariel, Katie, Gabby. I think that's a really good top 3.
I
just think that he's...
I just think like actually I do sense the most like playful sexual chemistry from him and Gabby. So maybe Gabby?
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, and I
But
think
would
Katie,
Gabby have sex with him?
But then it could also be like Ariel, because I think like
it's Ariel.
I think Ariel's like too good for him, and in the real world he'd be like, I could not get this.
Yes, agreed.
And
also,
she's
I think Ariel might have a
spicy.
little. Yeah, she has a little freak in her. Like she's ready to go. Like she's also too like they have this weird like I don't know. They have like a palpable like some kind of tension. I wouldn't say it's like fully sexual, but it's some kind of like something between them where I'm like that would, if I were her or him in that situation, it would feel irresistible. Like it's something about, I don't know, that date really struck me. I keep talking about it since last week, but something about
agree.
them together.
Even today,
was, like,
seeing them together today interact, I felt most tension between them in like a sexual chemistry way, where now, like you said, the chemistry with him and Katie, right? It was very flirty, high school vibes.
Yes.
And then who's the other one? There's Ariel,
Gabby,
Katie,
and Charity.
Oh, Gabby and Charity. But
Charity's family.
Charity's family looks incredible, don't they?
Yes, they look great, but they also look like they want nothing to do with Zach so far. Like they're questioning him. They're gonna grill him.
Ariel's family did too. Ariel's brother was what's my sister's middle name?
I love that question.
That was hilarious. I love that too. What's her birthday? Like that's amazing. He should know that. He should know the birthday at least.
No idea.
True, of course he has no idea. But like, wouldn't you think? Like, I feel like that's
Kaitlyn. Did you know your guys' birthdays?
No, I didn't.
Question.
Hey, Ramen, I didn't.
Yes,
I actually.
Oh my God.
Ramen, come here. I actually don't
Yes,
feel like I knew their birthdays, or if I did, I didn't remember. But I remember asking them their zodiac signs.
That's I was gonna say, like, the only reason I would know your birthday is because I want to know when you're born. I could probably regurgitate like, oh, he's born in May, but I only know that because he's a Taurus, like that.
But I did ask their middle names. I always wanted to know their middle names.
Good.
That's a good question. I love
Kelly,
those,
what else we
those
got?
kind of questions. Okay. Do we think it's strange how close all of the girls are? That is a good question, I think, only because I will say this season, they all seem like more than ever, like attached to each other. And I'm thinking maybe it's like because Zach keeps canceling dates or spending a lot of time, just them. Like, what do we think about that?
Well, I will only answer from experience because the final three were me, Becca, and Whitney. And we still to this day are close. And we were like trying to sneak to each other's rooms and not his room because we were all so close and we cared so much about each other. And you really do find some really special friendship bonds over there. But I will say that's rare. I feel like that's weird and rare. So do I think it's weird? Yes. Do I think it's beautiful? Also, yes.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I do kind of feel like there are always some fairly strong bonds that are formed within the women, and a lot of seasons, because there's so much messiness, you just never really see it. And with this season, it just hasn't been that messy. So I think it's just naturally created a focus more on these girls getting along, and that's why everyone's like focused on it, because there just hasn't been like there hasn't just been like a gnarly fight where you're just like, what's happening? They've all been
everyone on the internet.
supportive.
It's always like, what happened to women supporting women? And then when women support women, they're like, this is weird.
Or like, this is boring.
It's fake.
It's boring.
It's fake. It's boring.
Yeah.
Always, every time.
Normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do one more. This is just a general question that we get every single time. Now we're getting close to the end. Who do we think out of this group of girls, everybody that we saw in today's episode, could be a good bachelorette?
All of them.
It's always a question. I think that they're all pretty good.
Really good batch. It's a really
people
good.
People are throwing around
chickens. They're really good batch. Any of them
Great batch.
Great batch. Like a cupcake. Like I'm thinking cupcakes, like great batch of cupcakes. Like these girls got sprinkles, confetti.
Yeah, they're not just vanilla. They've got a bunch of sprinkles, rainbow colors. I actually think the only one and maybe this is, I don't want this to come across as rude, but the only one I couldn't see being bachelorette is Katie, because I feel like we haven't got to know enough about her where we see all these different sides of her where we really actually have with the other girls. Not to say we won't get to see that soon, but the other three I could totally see as Bachelorette.
I agree.
Ariel just hasn't had time.
Ariel is
I think I would like to see Ariel as the Bachelorette. I think she would be awesome.
I think she would too. I think she'd be amazing.
Yeah, she's one of those like I'm gonna say it, rough around the edges in the best way possible, because I love rough around the edges and I'm sick of seeing people that aren't rough around the edges.
Same.
And I love that.
I want somebody messy.
She's so relatable. I will say that.
I always want like kind of a mess. Like I feel like that. I mean, she is not kind of a mess, but if she were the Bachelorette, I would hope that it would be like not messy in a negative way, just like realistic, relatable, honest, dating, raw. Yeah, you're like that
dating
kind of stuff.
All these different kinds of personalities, and that alone is messy. So let's see it.
Yeah, agreed.
I have a question, and it's just going to be for Kaitlyn because I want to know her thoughts on this. What do you think of like, because I feel like all these girls are so great, and I don't know if you see like the accounts, like the data accounts and all that exist, but it's just kind of crazy to me how like the following, the social media following for a lot of these contestants is just like nowhere near what it used to be. Yeah. And like what's your take on that? Like, why do you think that is?
I've been trying to figure that out myself because I was looking at, because I'm engaged to a numbers guy, I used to be like, who cares about followers? And now I'm like, actually numbers make sense because it becomes a business and it becomes your reality and you can build something. And so now I'm like, oh, what's Zach at? And I looked and he's like 108 or something thousand. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And again, not because in a way where I'm like loser, in a way where I'm like, this show has just changed so much. And I don't know if it's because we crave as an audience more authenticity, where we know these people are going on a show and perhaps wanting a career out of it or wanting to be an influencer, and we get enough of that in our For You page and everywhere else, that I wonder if that's part of it, or if it's just people, I don't know. Or I mean, the ratings are down too, so that's got to have something to do with the numbers. But I've wondered the same thing. I'm like, oh, that's that. I mean, is it sad? It's not sad. It's just interesting.
It is interesting because it goes back to like, I forget the girl who was like who Zach immediately sent home because she had said like everybody would have 50K followers at this point, and like none of them do. So it's just it's interesting at this point that like, and maybe it's just like the age of influencers because there are so many now. Yeah, it's like
I do think so.
Like
it's like how many Bachelor people can you really follow, and what else are they really bringing to the table that other people aren't? And it all just feels very monotonous, the same every season, and we're not as curious, and we don't feel as though they're relatable. I don't know. I think it's a bunch of things combined.
Yeah. I also feel like too, the news cycle moves so quickly that if something happens in Bachelor Nation, I'll hear about it secondhand through some, page 6, some other Bachelor fan account will be on it. And I don't necessarily be following Zach to see that. So I'm like, oh, I know what's going on, but I didn't see it like directly from the source.
It was a little more like exclusive before where
you couldn't just repost everybody's things. You had to go see it for yourself.
Right. That's true. That's a good point too. Yeah. Again, it's so many things that add up into it, I think.
Yeah, that is very true. Okay, so last thing we do is cut some stems and give out roses. So your favorite and least favorite part of tonight's episode. Why don't you kick it off, Kelly, and give us your stem cut.
All right, let me think about this. Yeah, let me think about this. I'm going to give my rose to The Mentalist. I loved him. Anytime there's a great date that I always shit on the dates. So if there's a great date, I have to give it my rose, have to give it the credit. I'm going to cut the stem. Ooh, I'm trying to think of something I didn't like tonight. Oh, you know what I'm cutting the stem of? And I feel bad. doing this, but I just had to because I was like laughing and it was just like so overly dramatic. It was Zach's conversation with Greer, breaking up with her when she was like saying goodbye and saying all her thank yous, but she was whispering. And I was
that was killing me.
I was like, I feel so bad, but like, girl, speak up. Like, you sound silly. Like, what do you like? Come on, man. Like, this is I felt so bad. I was like, I know how you're feeling right now. And I'd be the same. You're trying not to cry. You're trying not to like freak the fuck out. But like, it was not even like a small voice. It was a straight up whisper. And she was like, thank you so much. I just appreciate your time. Like, I can't even whisper as low as she was whispering.
In the interview, she did it too. Like, even afterwards, she was still talking like that.
And I felt bad, but like somebody should have given her an extra minute so she could stop whispering and tell her part of the story. You know what I mean? So I gotta cut it. I'm sorry to Greer for that.
Okay,
Fran, you go.
All right, mine is my rose will be going to bathhouses. Major trend of this entire last few trips. I felt like there's been some kind of tub, spa, bathhouse in every single date.
They were embracing the culture.
Like, yes, they were like, this is this country's biggest bathhouse, and here's this one. A lot of bathhouses. I will be cutting the stem, and it's not a direct hit to these people, but the poor like townspeople that they have to like get involved, like that old couple in the water. They're playing chess, and he's like, "Where are you from?" Like, I'm like, who are these people, and where did they come from? Are they paid to do this? Like,
they're not. I remember having dates where you'd be like, go up to that couple and see what they're up to. But they were like prepped on everything. So you're like, okay, we're doing anything. But they are real. So those two really were married, and that's really sweet. But
that is very sweet. I just don't like that we always act like the people don't know they're being filmed on a TV show. No matter what, that couple or person or like it's
so many cameras.
Season. They go without fail. They ask the question, "Oh, how long have you guys been together? Like, are you dating?" It's like, what? Can't we just skip over that one?
I know. It's like they walk up to them and they're holding like an upside down newspaper, like waiting for their cue. That's like what these people are like. That's how obvious it is. But yeah, I think that they make them ask that question just to see how they answer it, because that's like an awkward question that you get asked in the real world. You know what I mean?
Are we dating? And then like
how long?
Zach said like 7 months for Kate, or 7 weeks for Katie, and then Brooklyn was like a month. Like, so they have different times.
Right. Yeah. He's probably just like, this doesn't matter. These are strangers. Like, I don't have to be truthful. But I do think that's like it's funny. I'm only realizing it now, but like that happens in real life when you're dating someone, but you're not really sure, like, what's our status? Are we dating? Are we together? Are we exclusive? Whatever. And then you go out and you go see like an old couple on the corner who's like, you two are cute. How long have you been together? And it's like an awkward question. It's a make or break it. And I do appreciate them like replicating it, even though it's very contrived, but it's funny to me.
Okay, Kaitlyn, what do you got?
My rose is definitely going to this guy. Wait for it.
Who is that guy? Oh God.
Oh, the guy floating. Oh my God. I didn't even see
Love him. Floating guy. Love him.
He's just like actually doing his normal trip to the bathhouse. Like just being like,
he's just trying to live his authentic life, and he's like the butt of the joke, like them kissing, and he's just like living his truth, floating. Yeah. And my rose goes.
He's like,
to him.
I paid for this. Like these cameras aren't going to stop me. I paid for this. Like.
Yeah. He's like, this is my moment.
Yes.
And then, okay, this might get me in trouble, but my stem cut, I'm cutting Zach.
Oh,
that's fine.
I needed more.
Sometimes you have to cut the Bachelor.
We've done it many
more.
times.
Oh, you have? Oh,
yes. Sometimes you have to.
You guys
sometimes he deserves
it. Okay. Yeah, to me, I know how hard that position is. And I know there's so many times where you're like, I don't know how I can do this anymore and fake this or like go on or play this role. But I needed a little more from him tonight.
I agree. Couldn't agree more.
I agree.
It's a good cut.
And there is like that little alarm bell going off, I think, in the back of all of our heads, like every time he sends home a girl because of like one small conflict, especially girls that he had such a connection with at the beginning, that it's like, where did this go wrong? Like, especially like with Jess and Kat, like it was like it seemed so strong, and then it just all of a sudden, bam, it's gone. So
and I have to. Really I always think too. Would I deserve for my stem to be cut during my season? Yes, and you have to be okay with that, because you cannot be a perfect lead at all times, and it's understandable.
Exactly.
It's completely fine. Everybody makes mistakes.
There's probably at least one time every season that everybody on this show cuts the lead stem, if not more than once.
And I get it.
So it happens for sure. I know. Mm-hmm. But guys, this was amazing. Kaitlyn, thank you for joining us.
Oh, don't you thank me? I begged to be here.
I know. This is
always
delight. Absolute delight. Everyone in the chat, make sure you're also showing Kaitlyn some love for coming on here with us and supporting everything that she does. And you're the best. Thank you for coming on.
You guys
Kelly.
are the best.
Always a pleasure, my dear.
Always a pleasure, Francesca.
Cheers.
Was I
Good night,
drinking
everybody.
alone tonight? Was I drinking alone?
Yes.
No, I was on the internet.
No, I wasn't. Never. Yeah. You're never drinking alone if you're on the internet.
Never. Exactly.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye, everybody.
Toodles.
Bye.
Game Time is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, and it is created by fans for fans. Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows, and they guarantee the lowest price. They cracked the code on how to score deals on last-minute tickets, so it's possible all within the Game Time app. The biggest last-minute price drops can be found on the seats you thought you could never buy. We use Game Time all the time. Noah was just at a show.
John Mayer next week.
You're going to John Mayer?
Yeah, next week.
Very nice.
Shout out Game Time.
He just
you love John Mayer. That's your thing.
I love John Mayer. I love Game Time.
Yeah.
Well, why would you not?
Speaking of John Mayer, why does Noah get to use all the?
I know, that's crazy. Yeah, Noah gets all the perks.
Just he's
at every single one.
There's also a ton of Jonas Brothers shows next week, which I know.
I saw you guys are going.
Prices have been expensive. Yes, we are going Tuesday. I will also be going Thursday.
Hell yeah!
So if you're looking for a way to get in for those shows, check out Game Time. The purchase process takes just 2 taps and 10 seconds, and once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. No printer needed. The app also allows you to easily share tickets with friends via text, so you can get into the game seamlessly. Skip the hassle and enjoy the moment. Download the Game Time app or go to the website, enter your email, and redeem code CHICKS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. We are here with a very special guest. We have an absolute superstar in the studio. Barbara Corcoran is here. We're so excited to have you. Thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure. What an intro. Thanks.
You do it all. There's really only so many words to describe someone of your caliber.
No, actually, I don't make very good love in bed, to be honest with you. Ask Bill. He'll say it's true.
We'll take that. So no superstar for that.
No
superstar in the bed. Why is that?
I'm just never honestly, I've never been good in bed. Even when I was a teenager.
You focus on other things.
I
trying
guess
to make
so.
businesses.
No, it never really turned me on. I must have something wrong. But I had 3 husbands.
You said
I fooled them.
You like how this place is looking.
You got a lot of guys out there, hunky guys.
She keeps saying hunky guys, which is making me laugh because I don't know if there's many hunky guys.
Sure, you have to look out your door.
Well, my boyfriend works here, so that's
he's hunky.
I think he's hunky, but besides that, I don't know about the hunky guys.
I just don't really think I use hunky, the term.
Yeah. Well, I'm old. That's an old-fashioned term.
I do like the term, but for these guys, I'm like, yeah. Do they really deserve it? I don't know. But we're very happy to have you here. You have lived a lot of life in New York City, and we have been living in New York. She's in New Jersey now. I'm in Manhattan, but there's just been such a journey, and I would love to hear about like the early days of your time in New York City?
Well, everything was cheap. It was very different. You had 3 roommates in a 1-bedroom, which you do today too, but you paid about $200 a month, and you're making as a secretary or a receptionist maybe $800 a month. So you had more than enough money to go out for dinner. Not the way anymore.
No, it is not like that
but
anymore.
It was, when I first came to New York, it was treacherous. You didn't dare walk down any street at night. Because if you're a woman, you were putting yourself at risk. And that changed gradually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were coming from New Jersey.
A small town, New Jersey. Yeah. Where everybody knew everybody. You come to New York and nobody says hello to you, right?
Yeah. Did you like your hometown in New Jersey?
I liked it, but it was confining as anybody who's in one little town for a long time.
Yeah.
I was dying to get over the river to the other side.
I also grew up in a small town in New Jersey, so I get that.
Yeah, I don't know what constitutes a small town.
Where everybody knows you. I think that's the definition. You do something wrong, you get caught.
Yeah.
That's a small town.
Yeah. And then everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
And everyone in the town knows what you did.
And everybody has
and they're telling your parents.
Everybody has an opinion on it.
Yep. You're pretty attached to New York City, though.
I love New York. There's no better place in the world.
Really?
I love it. I knew it the day I stepped foot. I was 21. And you know what really lit my fire? I was on East 86th Street walking from my new apartment with my roommates. And the guy on the corner who sold papers and candy, he said good morning to me. I asked his name thinking you do that in New York. And then the very next week, there was a different guy there in a different stand. And the week after that, there was a different guy again. I'm like, this town loves change. Wow, this is for me. And also, I learned that New York was the kind of town that didn't really give a damn who you were or where you're from. Really just was a town that, I guess, valued what you could do. What are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for me? And they paid you for that. Yeah. And so I thought it was a great town for me, my personality.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see how people become attached to New York City, and some people have no attachment, like myself. I'm from New York, grew up on Long Island, traveled
Did you live in the city?
I did. I have lived in the city before.
Yeah.
And it just didn't, when I grew up on Long Island and I would come in and out of the city very often, I always was like, I really want to live in New York City. I'm dying to live in New York City. And then I lived here. And I part of it was a big chunk of the time that I lived in New York City, I think, was during COVID as well. Yeah. So I was confined in my apartment.
It's hiding out.
I know. And I did have a couple years before that here, but it's interesting to see some people who can come in and out and they don't get too attached to it versus people like you who I don't think you're ever going to leave.
I will never leave. I'm going to be buried in Central Park.
That's beautiful. If you love it that much.
Yeah, I do love it that much. I don't think you spent enough time. You're only the second person in my life who said they didn't like New York City living here. And testing it out with COVID is like putting yourself in a plastic bag and seeing if you like the feeling of the place.
Yeah. I did have time here before, probably 2 years before that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, something about it. I didn't feel the attachment. You love it.
I love it. Yeah. I will leave eventually. I'm just not there yet. But I do absolutely love it. I mean, of course, renting is
fun.
A pain in the butt.
That's it too. I mean, my favorite place to go to dinner is in the city. Favorite place to go out is in New York City.
Yeah.
It's just about the escape after that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of funny because I never go out in New York City. My favorite place about New York City is walking the streets and having my neighborhood and grabbing the hot dog on the corner. Just the whole vibe of the town and the magic of the town and the talent here. I'm like, I always meet the most interesting and also the creepiest people going.
Yeah.
But that's what gives its flavor. It's like a giant crayon box with all these delicious colors, but not so much the restaurant.
Right.
So you eat at the restaurants. I'll eat at the hot dogs.
Hey, I love a good hot dog too. Yeah. I'm a big hot dog person. But you say you love walking around. How often are you getting stopped now and people pitching their ideas to you on the street?
All the time. I mean, coming here, I hopped a cab and the guy was pitching me. He saw me in the rearview mirror. He goes, "Oh, you're that lady, right? I have an idea, but I have a great lie I tell." I said, according to my ABC contract, I'm not allowed to hear pitches, but you could submit it on abc.com. It saves me so much time. I've had birthday parties with my kids where people have come up, "Excuse me, just a selfie, just a minute, I have a pitch." And I'm always giving people the time of day and the pictures and all, but that little trusty lie kind of works out.
Yeah.
Really
Does it ever happen where you do hear they get the idea fast enough and you hear it and you go,
all the time.
That might be pretty good.
Yeah. But nothing sounds so good. Remember, I've invested in 150 businesses, I've made money on about 10% of them.
Really?
Yeah. So the minute someone's opening their mouth, I figure I got a 90% chance of losing another $100,000 here. Do I really want to listen?
How much? And those are all coming from Shark Tank, or as
yeah. I think a lot of people think if you can pitch on Shark Tank and you get the investment, you're on the road to riches.
Right.
What you are on the road for immediately is publicity. You become a star in yourself. You get the riches of the first night when it airs, and then on update, you get riches again. But in the end, 1 in 10 people succeed because it's not so easy to build a business. Easy to start, not so easy to build.
I have a friend who was on Shark Tank.
Oh, really?
With his...
Did I buy into them?
You know, but you loved them.
Okay. I'm surprised you buy them if I love them.
Yeah, him and his 2 brothers, 3
Probably
brothers.
liked the look of them.
Yeah, the DeSico brothers. They're very handsome.
Oh,
they have
I'm shocked I didn't buy
super
it.
coffee. Yes.
What was their product? Do you remember?
A coffee drink.
Yeah,
coffee
super
with
coffee.
It's called
I
Super
see.
Coffee, and it was coffee with like it's protein and coffee. And now, I mean, they've expanded.
It's
now.
really taken off now.
They've expanded now, and they're
I was
everywhere.
just gonna say, I bet they're no good.
No, they're
everywhere
They've only
now.
gotten more successful.
Yeah, they have.
I don't want to hear that story.
Yeah. Well,
It's funny you brought that up.
But they brought up you after going on the show because they were like, oh, we thought maybe we were gonna get Barbara.
Yeah, I can't picture myself buying a coffee product.
Yeah.
But I bought a lot of oddball products because I love the entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And if you're telling me they're 4 good-looking guys, I'm shocked I passed.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, they are.
Is there oftentimes where you see a company like that? Well, you didn't know that they had taken off, but a company that you saw come onto Shark Tank, I think it might have been Poppy is the soda brand, right? Her TikToks, I see them and she goes, you know, when you get declined on Shark Tank, but now you've done this, this, and this. Is there oftentimes you see that and go, man, we should have invested? Or you kind of just like take your wins and losses?
No, I'm happy for them. No, I don't ever think that. Because at the time, you make your best call, your shot. It moves fast, the show. It's usually about an hour and 20 minutes for a pitch. You see it at home in 8 minutes flat. You know, they edit it down. So you got that hour and 20 minutes to take your chance. If you don't want to do it, you don't do it. And I don't know. I'm not the type of person that ever looks back and cries about stuff. It's such a waste of time. I'd rather look forward and find something else to laugh about, you know?
How were you initially pitched to be a shark?
Came in an oddball way. I was a contributor on the Today Show for real estate, which was my bailiwick. And I got a email from Mark Burnett, the biggest producer. I didn't know who he was. Actually, it was from his secretary. I'm making myself more important. I said yes to it right away. I thought it was a fishing show. They said no. It was buying business. I said yes. I signed the contract without looking at it. I mailed it right back, overnight express. I went out and bought myself a real leather set in Bergdorf Goodman's, 3 new outfits to sign autographs. I had this thing going in my head. You know, it's stupid, but that's what was going on. And then 2 weeks later, about a week before I was supposed to go out, they called me and said they changed their mind. They hired another woman. Thank you very much. They used me as a second. Second, that's like being the ugly sister. Right?
The understudy.
Yep.
But I did what I did very well. I got pissed. Are you allowed to say that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good.
You can say whatever you want on here.
Okay, good enough. I got pissed and started feeling sorry for myself because I was embarrassed. I told all my friends, I'm going to Hollywood. I'm going to Hollywood. And then I sat down and wrote a email right to him. Mark, you've made a mistake. I consider this a compliment. When I've been rejected, my best things happen, blah, 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 blah. I gave him all the rejections in my life. Boom, bada, boom, bada, boom. Short, very short. And I said, I'd like you to invite both women out to compete for the seat. And he said, yes. Thank God.
Wow.
Yeah, that was 14 years ago. What would I be doing these 14 years? Probably working your seat, having your job.
Hey, it's not so bad.
No, I don't think so.
No.
So do you suggest that to somebody, right, who gets rejected from a job and they're feeling really down about it because they feel like they belong there? Do you suggest that they reach out to whoever that is? And this is a different
Always.
case because it's a show, but...
No, every situation. I got everything in my life after I lost it. Now imagine if I didn't reach out, I can't even imagine my life. My expertise, and I think this you could learn when you're young, is trying. If you just go back for another hit, 1 in 3 times will come your way, without a doubt. All my best successes were on the heels of a failure. I never was able to really succeed at anything by trying hard and doing my best shot and making it work. I always had an upset somehow. But one thing I learned to do is never feel sorry for myself. The minute you're pitying yourself, you're missing the opportunity. Somebody else is taking your spot. Just like that. So I think the best skill when you're young to develop is trying and getting used to rejection. If you get used to that and just keep getting back up, the world comes and serves you. It just comes. You get what you want out of life. Not everything, but you get 90% of it. Yeah. I just think that is a skill that's underestimated. I see so many young people afraid to try new jobs on. They hate a job. They won't quit. They won't start their own business. What for? I mean, you just got to go for it because they're afraid of failing. But failure is a wonderful thing because it moves you on to something else if you don't take it hard. Right. A lot of people go and sulk and feel sorry for themselves for a year or two. That's not so good. But the more you do it, the more easily you get up, like a jack in the box. Boom, bada boom, bada boom. You get up, get up, get up.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's really good advice. And maybe for a second you could feel sad, but like you said, when you take that year or two, that's a whole
maybe a minute.
Yeah, things move quick.
Yeah, do you know I've managed salespeople my whole life. I built a huge real estate company, and I used to study my salespeople, the young ones, the old ones, and try to figure out what makes the good ones that are making $2-3 million a year in commissions different from the ones that were averaging 45,000, say. And the only difference was the way they handled failure. I'm telling you, that was the only, and I studied them for years. I worked with them for years. And the same on Shark Tank. My great entrepreneurs at 10%, you slam them on the head and they get back up, well, hit me again, like a low IQ almost. You know?
Yeah. I think that is really useful and great advice for anybody to have. And I feel like it can apply to many situations, not just rejections, just
heartbreak.
Relationships, friendships. School. You just got to keep going, not let it, school, people listening in college.
Yeah, our own experiences and whatnot. Yeah. What was school like for you growing up?
I had a very hard time. That wasn't my happiest chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, everybody learns differently. I had the kind of learning where I couldn't read and couldn't write. And that got in the way of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get in the way when you have your own business. You hire people who know how to read and write. You could do it. That's not the fun stuff. I'll do the fun, creative stuff, you know. It was terrible in school because I got labeled. And kids do, even if the teachers don't label so much anymore, and they don't, kids label. You know, if you're asked to read out loud and you're in front of your peers and you go, you know what happens. And so your ego is down the drain, you know. So it's a terrible experience. But I'm so thankful once you're past it as an adult, because the minute I got my first job, I think I was 12, I had like 20 jobs, 22 I think exactly, before I started my business. I did well in every job. I used my mouth to gab. I used my charm to get higher tips. I used my hustle to work harder than anybody else. And so I got great feedback, and that's what's really important. You find something you do well. And I know what I do well, and it just wasn't school for me.
Right.
Yeah.
You have a ton of people pitching ideas to you. You see so many people. What are some qualities that you see right off the bat that you know this person's going to be a great person to work with versus bad qualities that you see right away?
Oh, it's plain as night and day. I've been doing it 14 years, but I think I kind of got the hang of it after the third year. First of all, a lot of people come on the show that just don't look the part. You say you're a lobster salesman, you're making lobster cakes, and you look like you're an investment banker because your parents are rich and they gave you the money. You're not going to go there, okay? I'm always looking for the same trait, the number one trait. I'm looking for ambition. Someone who envisions where they're going, and I fall for it when they tell me they're going there. And what's that? Because everybody thinks they're going to be successful. They're feeding you all this stuff. But when you're on Shark Tank, you could feel the beat between the words. It's like you feel them coming at you, or they're just saying the words.
Yeah.
So I got to feel it in my gut. And I don't even care generally what business it is. I buy the entrepreneur. Because I figured, and it's happened to me where I've bought businesses run by entrepreneurs. They've totally changed their business, and I've made a lot of money because I bought the right person, every time.
Yeah. When did you first realize, when you got into real estate, that was the field for you? Like, did you have one big deal that was like, this is it?
You know what made me realize that real estate was for me? The moment I opened my first apartment door and let a customer in. I opened the door. They were my customer. My boss didn't tell me to go there. I went there. It was my business. And I opened the door and they said, thank you. And I said, I love this shit. Okay? Because I was working for myself. I had 22. I really did count them once for some purpose. I don't know why. But in each of those jobs, I had good bosses, bad bosses, mediocre bosses, but I never liked them. I just didn't want somebody to tell me what to do. It was like the teacher back at school telling me to read out loud. Once I had my own shop, and I could hire who I wanted. I could paint the walls what color I wanted. I could work as hard as I wanted with nobody telling me. I was in love. I could have been selling plumbing supplies. I would have been just as happy.
Yeah.
But it was the idea I was working for myself.
Now, you didn't like having a boss, but was there a job out of those 22 jobs that you look back on and go, I really enjoyed that one? Or is it all of them?
No, I enjoyed 2/3 of my jobs because I used my mouth. I was a sales clerk. I was a lifeguard stand. I was a hot dog salesman. I was everything that I could use my mouth and not read or write. If it excluded that stuff, I was great at it. But I learned the most from my worst bosses in hindsight, because I had a couple of son of a bitches that stripped you of your ego. I had one boss who unfortunately told me to label about 10,000 boxes of socks or so. Maybe not that much. It seemed like that much. Gray and blue. And I wrote on them gray and blue. And I put GRAY. And he, in front of everybody the next day, said, I have to have Barbara go up and relabel the socks because she spelled gray wrong. It's GREY. And I was mortified. I hated that guy.
Could be spelled either way.
But God, am I good with people? Yeah, can it be spelled either way?
Yes,
I'm pretty sure.
One of them is more British than the other, but they could be spelled either
No
way.
way.
Yeah.
How did I get this all without knowing that?
Yeah, no, they're both
is,
are used.
Yeah.
One of them is more. One of them is more like British,
proper English.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they're definitely both used.
Yeah.
Well, write a note to Milton.
Because somebody made fun of me once.
Really?
Because I don't remember which way I spelled it. And it was an ex-boyfriend's brother. I remember this. This sticks with me.
Yeah.
And he insulted you by it?
And my ex-boyfriend in high school's brother. I once wrote the word gray and I didn't spell it the way he thought it was spelled. I can't remember exactly. And he was like, "What are you, British?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah. With an accent.
And
yes.
then that's when I realized. And then we fought about it because I was like, you could spell it either way. So there you go. You can.
I wish I met you sooner. When I was about 17, maybe.
So you hated this guy after that.
I hated him because he insulted me in front of my peers.
Yeah. That's
just very hurtful. But ask me what my best thing is with anyone I've ever hired: giving recognition, building them up, making them stars, making them shine, giving them public accolades, individual accolades, little notes. I am so good at that. It's more important than what you pay someone. Yeah. But I learned that from him by not doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you a big believer in like positive affirmation?
Without a doubt. Yeah. What else is there? There's either negative or positive. Which one would you like?
I would prefer positive.
Positive. Yeah. But sometimes I feel like, there's a lot of people who can relate to being in a job where the positive goes unrecognized and the negative is what is discussed.
Then you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
I can't believe how many people are in jobs they just don't like and they don't get up and move.
Yeah.
I mean, and the boss you work for has more to do with your happiness than what you do for a living. I've seen that again and again.
Yeah. It is very interesting. I do feel that way, that a lot of people are like that. I just, even just within seeing my peers and whatnot, that there's just, and I guess it really does stem a lot from fear or like not having an income or
right.
And it's living in New York City is hard. If you lose that.
I think it is too. I think when you're stuck in a spot you don't like, it's hard for you to envision a better spot till you have it. And so it stops you from going out to get the better spot.
Right.
But I have never seen anybody leave something and shove themselves out, force themselves out to smell the roses or see what's out there and not move to a better spot. Never. I've never heard anybody say I should have never left that place. Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never.
Not usually.
Yeah, that's not normally the story they tell.
Yeah. How do you give or have confidence in yourself if you don't really? Like, what's your advice to somebody to give them confidence if they don't really feel it?
Well, I think we all have tapes in our heads that we get very early on. You're dumb, you're stupid, you're such a charming girl, such a pretty girl, whatever you've heard in your younger years. I think what you have to do for confidence is design your own tape. really design your own tape. And you do that by practicing all the time, telling yourself something else. I mean, I didn't have it. It took me probably till I was 30, 35. I looked confident to everyone. I mean, by 35, I had 800 people working for me. They looked at me as a boss. They thought I knew what I was doing. I knew I didn't know what I was doing. I was just inventing as I went. But I think I got my confidence because I tried so hard. If there's one thing I know about myself, it's not that I am necessarily perfectly good at this or that or the other thing, but I know I can outtry anybody. If there's somebody who's trying for something, a girl, a guy, a competitor, whatever, I would just sit there and say, well, I may have lost this one, but I'm coming back. I'll get you, Buster. You know, I actually had in my head, and I said, I'm going to come back. And I would try. So I got my confidence that I could outtry anybody. If you can outtry anybody, you could outdo anybody. It just comes automatically. Yeah. But if I was reaching for success in each instance versus simply my goal was to try my best, try everything, I probably would have had too much disappointment and maybe given up a bit, you know, at the tough times, because you have tough times always in life, personal, business, it always comes at you. But if you know you're really good at getting back up, I'm a good one. I'll get back up. I'm showing up again. I mean, I wouldn't have got my Shark Tank job. I wouldn't have started my second real estate business when my boyfriend married my secretary. It was crushing when he did that. I was 30. I thought I'd never have another man.
Your secretary?
Yeah, that bastard. I mean, he was really a good boyfriend, so I shouldn't, but I have to say that bastard.
He wasn't that great of a boyfriend.
Well, he was until he left.
Up until that point. And you tried again with your marriages.
Oh, I proposed to everyone I ever married.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't wasting time. Proposed to my first husband, my second husband, and my first boyfriend.
How long were your engagements? I mean, how long were you dating before your engagements?
About a month.
So you really knew right away. 1 month is like, I'm proposing.
You know what happens? You know who you don't like.
Yeah.
More. You know this ain't going to work, right?
Yeah.
So when you find somebody good, I would look at him and think, would this make a good husband? And I just corner him. I'd say, what's your intention? What do you mean my intention? Are you going to marry him or not? What? Give him a day to simmer down. You know, you give him a couple of days, give him a little line, and then you close him again. So what have you decided?
That's hilarious.
Is that really, well, maybe funny to you, but very successful for me.
You're a go-getter.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to let some other chick get in there and get that guy? I don't think so.
Yeah.
You're going to close the deal.
How long have you been married now?
My first husband, 7 years to the itch.
Okay.
But I was marrying on the rebound. I was trying to beat my boyfriend and secretary to the altar, but they beat me by 3 weeks. And I performed that ceremony within 3 months. So I never thought they'd beat me to the altar.
Yeah.
It's a little disappointing.
Are they still together?
Well, it's so funny. Only because I recently heard, and cause they have been together for years and years, had 3 children together, so they should have been together. I realized that. But recently she left with her tennis instructor.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
not
sorry,
the tennis instructor.
I shouldn't have laughed.
Yeah.
But I did.
Oh, that's classic.
Well, yeah. Yep.
But my second husband has been 33 years. It feels like 150. Bill, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, even though you say you're not great in bed.
I'm not good in bed.
I don't believe you with the way you say it.
Why?
Wait, did you say 3 husbands?
Well, my first boyfriend, I proposed to him, but he proposed to my secretary.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, that didn't
So
work
you
out.
were never actually married?
Well, twice.
Yes, actually married twice.
Yeah, but I was
the
with him,
first one was
Yeah,
not.
I was with him for 11 years.
Okay.
It felt like,
that's
and I raised his 3 children. It
Feels
felt like a
basically,
marriage.
yes.
Yeah.
That when it's that long, it hurts just the same as if you signed the piece of paper or not.
But maybe my real issue was I wasn't good in bed, and I never knew it then.
But your secretary was.
She must have been hot. But you know what? She was prettier than me. I had already cut my hair short because it's easier. She had long blonde hair, and she was 5 years younger than me. I didn't blame him. When I really looked at it objectively, I said, yeah, I would have married her too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know what? You have a positive outlook on things.
Only after I came around the bend. At first, it was debilitating. I could hardly walk.
Yeah.
I was so devastated. You know, you go through those times, but you come out of it, right?
Yeah. So we are, we're 2 girls in our 20s, and we both rent, but I feel like especially with what has gone on with the pandemic and things changing, I want to know what your advice is to the 20-year-olds that are in these big cities that are trying to make the most out of their money, and their like real estate and just where they live takes up so much of that.
Too much of it. And there's no benefit to it. Think about it this way. You rent an apartment, the guy who owns the building is in charge. Typically a guy. He's going to raise your rent. It's regulated. You're at a no-win game. I believe the best thing you could do is buy something as fast as you can. And when you're in your 20s, you have a big ego. I have advised more people in their 20s to hit up their parents. There's no shame in that. Nobody buys under 40 in New York without the help of their family. You should think about that. No one, even investment bankers, they have to come up with a lot of cash to get that fancy Park Avenue apartment. But you can hit up your parents and say, if they have a savings, or a rich uncle or aunt, say, how would you like to be my partner? I'll give you half the profit when I sell this thing. I'll pay the maintenance, no cost to you. Just give me half the down payment, or give me the whole down payment if you have nothing. You got to get in the game of real estate. I bought my first apartment when I was 26, a studio in Greenwich Village, top floor walk up. It was darling. I lost my courage. I forfeited the deposit, and it was $84,000, which you should not credit all because times are different.
Right.
But I lost the 10% deposit. Do you know how long it took me to catch up to the market, which ran away from me? 7 years before I could buy my first studio again. You have to get in the game, because when you want your one bedroom, you need a chit to trade up with. You want your 2-bedroom house in the suburbs. When you have your kids, you need a chit to turn. You have to be in the game. You have to beg, borrow, steal, however you get in it. And so far as timing the market, which is a question I get all, is this a good time? Is it going to be a better time with interest rate? Forget about the timing. The timing of what you earn on that home has more to do with when you have to move than when you buy in. You know, you're not in charge of that. Your life is. You know, you need a better school. You have a bunch of kids. Your husband divorces you. You know, all these things happen. Yeah. But you got to get in the game. So I always say now. Same answer no matter what's going on in the market. Right now. Yeah. That's how we get in. Yeah.
That's good advice, because I think like for me personally, I've rented the entire time I've been in New York. I'm still renting. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, I won't actually buy anything until I leave New York, and wouldn't necessarily buy an apartment, because I would want to be in a home.
But you can do that early.
Yeah.
My dad calls me every day telling me to buy a house in Florida.
Well, listen to the man. Oh, Florida, because he wants you close.
Yeah. But I also think probably just, nice little getaway from New York.
Well, that wouldn't be bad, but why not stay with your parents there in Florida?
Well, they go Long Island and Florida.
Yeah, so stay at their place.
Yeah. I know, but I think they want me to buy a house, so they have another, because they stay at, it's my grandfather's house, but under my mom's name. When my grandma died, it went to,
I see. So they inherited.
So they inherited it, but they're like, if you buy a house, we'll take care of it when you're not here.
Oh, they're teasing you. Think of them as Satan. Do what you want to
do. Well, Barbara, you are a busy lady, and you are not only doing Shark Tank, but you also have a podcast yourself.
Yeah, I like that podcast a lot.
Why do you like to do the podcast? Because, I'm looking at it, I'm checking it out, and you can go anywhere from an hour to 20 minutes to 5 minutes. Like, I just feel like, is it just kind of, you think of, I want to get this out, I'm going to get this out, and it could be long, could be short, but this is what I want to say.
It is the podcast, and I'm sure you've experienced this, is very intimate.
Yeah.
You get to talk to people one-on-one. People tell me the craziest things. How do I leave my husband by Monday? Okay, how do I fire my mother? Okay, is this guy any good for me? But they ask me anything. But what I like about the podcast is I'm great at giving advice. I can zero in on someone, feel the words between the words, and give them advice. And then I get the prize of getting great feedback. I get people writing to me, email me, people visit my office to thank me. I get all kinds of good things, but I feel like I'm making a difference in people's lives. And if you think about it, whatever we do for a living, don't you like to make a difference in people's lives, even if it's just a couple of friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it expands my ability to change people's lives. Well, that sounds dramatic. So, not change, but make a difference.
Yeah, make somebody's day.
Yeah, and I learn as much as they do, because I start to see different perspectives.
Yeah.
And I'm so appreciative for what I have and who I have and my health. I hear people's problems all the time. I guess I should be a shrink. Yeah. Then you could charge.
You kind of are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is the great thing about podcasting. You're right. It's very personal and so many different perspectives.
Yes.
I think we've learned that a lot where we look at things a little bit differently sometimes because of this job.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think the reason you two do well, other than the fact you're good together, I think you are very much yourselves. I think people see through it when you're not. So people will just really I don't want to say lean in, that's a funny expression, but people really get comfortable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Definitely. Business Unusual is where people can listen to your podcast. I'm sure you can listen to it everywhere that you listen to podcasts.
You're better off on my social, honestly, because I give
everything's
so much
there.
You got a great TikTok.
I love TikTok. It's so much fun. You could be an ass and nobody's going to stop you. Right?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want on there.
It's entertainment value, I think.
Yeah. Is that your favorite platform right now?
I love it.
Yeah.
I get to wear all kinds of weird things. I get to dance. And unlike Dancing with the Stars where you're rejected, thrown out right away, I think I dance okay, So it's fun. And it's just so much fun.
Yeah. Well, that's great. We love to hear it. Well, Barbara, thank you so much for coming. This has been fantastic. We really appreciate it. And everyone, head to Barbara's socials where you can really get the full picture.
Right. Good enough. And I bet you'll learn something. I feel like I learned something here today. So thank you so much.
I hope so. If not, I failed, right?
All right, everyone, that wraps up today's episode of Chicks in the Office. Make sure you are subscribed on everything, especially YouTube. We are inching closer to Noah having to bleach his hair when we hit 150,000 subscribers.
I just found that out today. I'm going to have to start telling everybody.
Exactly.
I don't know how I didn't know that before, but I'm dying to see those locks bleached.
Exactly.
Fran.
It's very, very exciting. And we'll be back on Friday.